All right. Peace, power, and profit to the family. What is going on this Saturday? All right. Saturn day, right? Right. Go deep for the deep divers out there, right? Right. Can I get a hello there? Now, what's going on, everybody? Shout out to everybody on this Saturday. Jumping on somewhat impromptu. Discussed a little bit the ideal of doing it Friday. Did not, of course. Focus in the markets and doing other stuff. So I feel like Saturday would be a great day to come on and speak about the market. Just pretty much how we ended the week. In essence, that we had a couple of big events that were looming. That being the infrastructure bill. Coming down somewhat to the last wire. It was already catastrophe before we even got to this point because of the the gridlock and the back and forth. And of course, at that point, the luster of it, is not necessarily as great as it was from the beginning, when it felt like it would have been a great opportunity to get it done then. However, nonetheless, markets, for the most part, markets don't care. They're just, you know, they're going to price in the rumor, and potentially you would say, well, it might be a buy the rumor, sell the news event. It very much could be. But I will also say this: it could be very much a dollar amount now that they have, meaning Wall Street, that they can work with, right? That's the difference, right? We have a finite dollar amount that we can work with, that they can plan around, that they can, program algos to, search and seize some of these particular stocks that may be very beneficial to majority of that money. So that's what we're going to discuss here today. For the little brief time that I have, here to be online, I felt like it was a great opportunity, to kind of reiterate some of the stuff that we were speaking about this stuff last year, to be exact. We have, videos to show we were speaking about certain, infrastructure stocks. That'd be great. Of course, this is before Joe Biden became president, but if he was to win, these were some of the plays that we would be more apt to want to look at, right? And since then, majority of those stocks, or some of those picks that we were looking at back then, have gone on to run exorbitant hundreds of percents value, right? Hundreds of percents, right? And no secret that a lot of guys who were, and the ladies, whatever, who took positions on some of those positions, they're definitely benefiting today, despite even some of the pullbacks that happened when a lot of those had meteoric rises, in the beginning of the year, right? Well, come Monday, for the most part, if the market still respects the value of money flowing into it, especially these particular stocks, then a lot of those stocks should get lift off again, right? They should get a nice little lift off, with that bill being pretty much signed, sealed, delivered. It just has to go to Joe Biden desk at this point, and it'll be a done deal, right? As they say, a done deal. All right, so that's interesting. So again, that's what we have to work with. That's the status of the day. All right, the conversation topic of this today. We might get into some ad lib stuff as always. Of course, we do current events, and just kind of checking on the family side, how everybody else is doing, and what they may be looking at, through the financial lens that we all wake up to every day, right? Because that pretty much becomes the mantra of our life, right? We're trying to find ways to seek alpha, right? Get paid. Right. And it's, it's ebb and flow, it's peak to trough, even in that endeavor. Right. All right. But that's good, because again, the goal is consistency in terms of knowledge, and then also being able to utilize that knowledge in a form of a power, right? A power structure value, strategy, implement strategy, executive decisions that you do when it comes to, making your money become mobile, right? That's what investors do. Where, our money is the most mobile, source tool that's out there. We let it go down range a lot faster than a lot of people do every day. I guarantee you that, right? That's a fact, right? So shout out to all the investors, the traders, the go-getters. Again, any asset class doesn't matter to me. If you put your money to work for you, but with a strategic plan, then by the very nature of that, you are an alien, right? I like to call us aliens, because a lot of people are not willing to go places that we go to, right? They're not willing to go the distance, right? They like the idea when you show up and you post a little P&L or a little stock that you made a few bucks here, whatever, 1,000, whatever. It looks good, but like, hey, that came with some hard work, right? It came with some, some studying and some chart time. And of course, when we say hard work, we're not speaking about physical. We're just speaking, we utilize the greatest, muscle we have in terms of our brain, right? We're using that brain power, and that what better fueling source, right? Than that. So again, shout out to everybody who take solace in knowing that there's other ways that you can be useful in life besides just physical all the time, right? This laborious reality that comes along with go to school, get an education, you can get a good job and work hard and pull yourself up by your bootstraps and blow your back out, your knees out, your elbows, and like, no, forget that, man. That's them days over with. Right? The ideal of that mantra is over with, is my point. Nothing wrong with the job, nothing wrong with education, nothing wrong with those things, but we're very much focused on trying to open up that Pandora's box of our financial opportunity that comes through the financial markets, right? So that's what we get excited about over here. All right, so shout out to everybody again. Got some family coming through already in the building. We have Ober Chris in the house, Ober brother Mathis in the building. Our family, everything is in the house. Salute, shout out to you, family. Our brother Rich B in the house, resident hospice, holding it down. See you in the building, right? Our family, Anthony Smith, came through so far in the house as well. Shout out to you as well today, family. Anybody else that may be watching, just behind the scenes listening, shout out to you all as well, and hope you guys are having a great Saturday. My best to you all. Sister Tamika popped up in the building. What's going on, Ilba? Tamika in the building. Shout out to her as well, right? Love to see it. When the sisters pop up in the house, of course, they always bring a great energy, and it's good because we're a diverse crew over here. We're a very humble crew. Again, we're very critical thinkers, open-minded people over here. So we welcome people from all walks of life and thoughts and schools and all of that. Right? We don't do echo chambers. I have to keep repeating that. We do not do echo chambers over here. Right? So whatever you have a hard stance on, then guess what? That's great. Right? But we're very neutral opportunity over here because we're searching for things that can give us a hard, tangible benefit anyway, for the most part. So if we can link it back to a financial gain in some kind of way, of course, barring not hurting and hindering anybody, then we all for it, right? Because again, we can talk to you blue in the face, but if you can't feed yourself, clothe yourself, shelter yourself, or at least plan out opportunity to grow in life through such avenues, then why would you want to waste your time, right? Why would you want to waste time on things that are trivial? In this day and age, like serious, like reality TV shows are pretty much like dead as the doorknob. They make for comedic anecdote, conversations, but that's about it. Right. The real world is the opposite, being in a position where you could be opportunistic and make things happen and receive a tangible benefit from it. Not emotional, but a tangible, right? So we're not doing, the talking points and the dancing and the pulling out the hot sauce out your purse and all that stuff. No, we're not doing those those little moments like that anymore. We want tangible benefits, and that's it, right? That's that. All right. So shout out to everybody again. Shout out to everybody Saturday. As you can see, of course, the thumbnail pretty much describes everything that we're going to discuss a little bit today. The bill passed late last night. Of course, y'all probably were following if you were following it. For those who dig the geopolitical landscape of things, the investors out there, or if you just might saw it pop up in your news feed. Why? Because it made that kind of level of news, right? Breaking news event, because it has a lot to do with what goes on here in America as far as the backbone, right? The guts of America, right? Infrastructure. All right. The one thing that seems to be on everybody's to-do list but never gets done, right? America is rickety. America is rough, and potholes and rusty bridges and rusty factories. America is beat up. Let's call it what it is. To be a quote unquote first world country, it is the most neglected society, literally out there than a lot of the more subsidiary, nations out there that take pride in, their environments. Not to say that America doesn't have beautiful places too. That's not what I'm saying. But for the most part, you guys live here like I do. So, no matter what state you go to, there's moments where, or places where you're like, okay, this needs to be updated. This needs to be overhauled. Right, this is rough, and this, that, and the third. And it's not like there's not enough money circulating in around America to make that happen. Again, you're talking about a nation that has a $29 trillion, debt bill. So that means somebody's spending money or borrowing money or doing something, right? So we're not, crazy, and just making up stuff when we say that. And the majority of that, of course, is coming off the back of who? Governments, right? Governments is coming up with all this kind of, helicopter money and just, massive spending bills all of a sudden, using COVID as the excuse to, of course, to liquefy taxpayers' future money and pretty much give it to the wealthy. In a lot of ways, when I say that, meaning, hey, a lot of this money is going down range to businesses, corporations. It's not really going in the hand of mom and pop people, right? Everyday people who need it the most. So, of course, that enriches the company, especially if they're publicly traded and or even private. Doesn't really matter because that's a infusion of cash or investment dollars that company now gets to utilize to build out their business model, build out their business plan. And all that is coming on the back end of what? High inflation. So they're going to pay, still be able to get it at low interest rates. They financing value through certain things and getting a little money, then still going out there, borrowing against it. But the cost of those goods that they're going to need to produce, or to get the concrete, the dry mix for the concrete and the steel for the bridges and the aluminum for this, for the beams and all this stuff is up right now because of inflation, right? So yeah, that cost is going to get passed on at some point to the consumer, even though the taxpayers already paying for it up front, right? Well, they said that of course they're going to use a lot of the excessive taxation, which we're going to speak about that, to pay for majority of the bill, right? And this is the infrastructure bill. Now, keep in mind, it was two parts to this bill. It was a Build Back Better plan, and it was the infrastructure bill. Well, only one of them got pretty much passed, right? It was the infrastructure bill. It wasn't the social one, right? The social spending bill is the Build Back Better. That's the one that deals with the child tax credit and all that stuff like that. This is just going straight to stuff that we already knew that need to get done literally 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 presidents ago that never got done at the level they need to get done, right? America kept kicking the can down the road. Then America kept getting rickety and raggedy to the point where it was just forcing people. Again, I keep reiterating this. Flint, Michigan just happened, a few years ago? Flint, Michigan, the water crisis happened, a few years ago in a first world country. Well, people will be damaged for the rest of their life for the most part. Those kids that were drinking that water, and these people knew about it and they did nothing. This was all during Obama. Let that marinate, right? So again, I had to, have that moment of silence there because this is the nature of, of the insidious natures of government, how they just play people every day, and they'll tell you, you shouldn't demand that from your government. We can't do nothing. Our hands are always tied, but yet they always seem to find money to do things for what they want because donors and lobbyists be in their ear, be in their office, be on their telephone line constantly, bribing them with those dollars to get their agendas pushed, right? Ahead of what the American payers that pay for everything is looking to get out of it. So again, that's what we deal with here, right? What's going on, Oba Brandon? What's going on, Oba Mateo in the building? What peace, power, and profit to you, family, right? Got some more family coming through. Shout out to everybody again. Might be listening in the back, just kind of going through their Saturday. Don't mean to be all in your, what they call in your space today. I know you guys watching football and enjoying life, but I'm happy to be a part, wherever I can and trying to edify through information. All right. So that's the infrastructure bill. So again, y'all probably saw the headlines all over the place. So again, Joe Biden, the president, he's been taking, again, I'm bipartisan. Y'all know how this stuff government. I'm neither Democrat or Republican, so I don't have a dog in the fight in foolishness. I don't do, two wings of the same bird politics anymore. I've been left that coop. I deal in reality and critical thinking, and for the most part, we know that there's a very severe, benign neglect value that comes out of government, to the extent where you just watched it all happen, literally, even more so through COVID, because COVID exposed a lot of the weakness and the lies and all that stuff, that government has been purporting for years, right? That a lot of people knew anyway, but it just made it even more, ratchet that you saw that happening. Then all this money that came out of nowhere when they kept saying, we can't pay for this, we can't afford that, we can't afford to do that bill and do this restitution and that, and then the third. Then all of a sudden money came out of nowhere, right? Feds just went to print money, and then literally, the majority of that went straight to the stock market. Moment of silence for everybody on Main Street, right? Moment of silence for the people on Main Street who work hard, who feel like the government got their back and their degrees are worth something. And, their tenures at companies and environments like that are just, mean so much, but they found out, no, about that. So shout out again to everybody. So that's the topic. So again, as of yesterday, one of the headlines read that, Giddy President Joe Biden on Saturday held the congressional passage of the long delayed $1 trillion infrastructure bill as a once in a generation. See, that's that once in a generation stuff. They're pretty much telling themselves right there when they say that once in a generation. What are they saying? They're saying that, of course, we've been kicking the can down the road so long on this. So yeah, generations pretty much have passed on, and we are still yet to really do something for the backbone of America, right? Fixing America's essentially, right? And so the investment and predicted a broader social safety net plan will be approved despite the tense negotiations, right? So, of course, again, it's a two-part scenario, right? We have the infrastructure bill, and we also have the Build Back Better plan. right? And of course, the one that's needed the most, of course, in my opinion, uh, it, well, I don't know if it's even worth even making that comparison because there are a lot of things that are in terms of social spending that needs to get done to really help people who need help the most, who've been kind of waiting in the wing for the longest, trusting the system has pretty much been spitting on them, right? So a lot of those social programs like that, maybe child care, whatever, extensive values and things like that that really matter, right? Everybody gets affected by that at some point. Well, we saw that through COVID, right? Everybody was hurting, right? Like, man, this is crazy, right? So, and then of course, bridges need to get fixed. Potholes need to get filled. Buildings need to be, restructured and resurfaced, or whatever the case. A lot of stuff just needs to get done. Water systems need to get re-updated. Power grids need to definitely get upgraded. I mean, here it is in the 21st century, and we still got rickety old power lines all over the place, and a lot of them look really rickety. I'm being serious. Not a lot of metro areas, but some of the other places these little power lines look very rickety, right? So I don't know if you guys know that, but today in time they have this, new way of keeping them safe, right? Even from like forest fires and stuff like that. California definitely, right? Bury the power lines. Right? Burying the power lines is so much more, as they say, it's more safer, right? It's more safe, right? But hey, a lot of things need to get done, right? And there's a laundry list of things that need to get done. But for the most part, we're gonna try to find some of the stocks that may be useful for that, uh, you know, for that value, worth looking into. Again discussed some of these things before, so nothing new in that position. It's great to kind of reiterate it now because Monday we will possibly have some really good lift off again with some of these stocks. So first off, what I'm going to do here, being it is the impromptu section, let me get the link. Throw that out there in the back chat. So you guys want to come on, you guys got stocks you might be looking at, some that you may be already, rubbing your hands together with, saying, man, come Monday, I'm finna buy the brakes off this stock, right? I'm finna buy all of it, right? Like, Jerome Powell, I'm finna print so much money. He sleep right now. I'm gonna print so much money come Monday, right? So let me share this link with the families. If guys do want to come on, you'll have the floor as always to share your thesis and some of the stocks that you may be looking to trade here. There's the link over here on YouTube. Let me post over here on the Facebook side of the house. So if you are free, you're welcome here any day of the week. Of course, we do how we roll over here, right? We're very friendly people over here, very friendly, right? Extremely, right? Because our modus operandi is not so much for anything outside of just being able to focus on trying to get a bag, right? So there's the link. So I posted over on the Facebook side as well. The group chats, this, that, and the third. So if you want to come on, there it is. Oh, let me throw it over here in the Discord room too, right? Really quick, and we'll get at it, and then we'll go over some things, and we'll get on off here, right? So you guys can enjoy the rest of your weekend. Pretty sure you guys enjoying good weather at some places around the country. It's getting a little chillier. It got a little chilly down in the DMV area last night, and about that time of the year. So you used to complain about it, I guess, right? It is definitely that time of year, right? So let me post that and throw that out there. All right, yeah. So we got that out there too. All right, so there we go. All right, so we're rocking and rolling. So that's the topic. Again, that's what we're going to discuss here. So let me go over here and kind of somewhat pull back the banner here, since we're going to get ready to share some charts in a second. And so we can get at it. So first and foremost, right? So within the bill, there, of course, the money value of it is being dissected, right? It's broken down. Oh, let me get my cam on, right? What's going on, everybody? Shout out to the family. All right, I'm over here in the dark. Well, not quite the dark, but it's getting there, right? Eventually, the dark will come, right? So, like we're saying here, a portion, well, not the portion, but the majority of the bill is broken down into, again, subsectors in terms of what's the use case for the money. Now, of course, initially they wanted to do both together, and the whole idea between reconciliation and all that and whatever. right? But within the solely the infrastructure bill alone, they was able to, pull away about $1.2 trillion, something like that. And so what we're going to do here, we're going to look at some of those, those numbers, right? Because it's going to detail basically where the money's going to go, right? Right. We always have this thing where we say, what, follow the money. Well, if you're going to follow the money in a scenario like we have fresh cash that's waiting to get injected into the market, then 9 times out of 10, there is some publicly traded company, some stock, to that nature that may be attached, to that, that industry, right? That sector, however you want to look at it, that's a fresh opportunity that was already in play before it happened, because people, again, realize you invest into the future. You don't wait for things to happen, then just invest now, which you still can, of course. But we're saying we want to be more, forward thinking in our in our assessments of things, where we can get into opportunities early, right? Get into them a lot early. So, matter of fact, I have some of it posted up in the in my description box. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go right over there, make it easy on me, right? Let's go straight to that. Yeah, let's go straight to that. Let's go to the infrastructure bill. Let's go here, right? So as you can see there, all right, it says here's a closer look at what's in the infrastructure bill that now here's the Biden desk, which he probably will sign it. If not this weekend, maybe Monday, right? Make a big event out of it. He may sign it Monday, because again, they're still thinking in essence how this will benefit markets, right? Let's not get it twisted. Even though Joe Biden makes it clear that he's not, he's not Trump and he don't care about the stock market, that's lies. That's all lies. He may not speak on it a lot, but they track this stuff, right? They all track stuff. I mean, that's what's used to have an economic advisor for, right? If you're not trying to really assess the nature of your economy. But we know that they have a very insidious value how they try to tie the economy to Main Street, in essence, that well, they'll say that the economy is strong due to Main Street, but ultimately we know it's not. It's really due to Wall Street, right? Let me repeat that. The economy is not strong due to Main Street. It's due to Wall Street. They're counting numbers through these corporations, and they feel like that's a rising tide that lifts all boats, which is a lie, right? Which is a lie, right? But that's the games that they play with people who are not initiated. So they run out there, they think, well, I'm good, I'm straight, I think, they really care about me and this, that, and the third, whatever, right? So we're gonna get at it. So as you can see here, again, some of those notable aspects of the bill that's going to be very useful, right? In terms of the cash flow that's coming into them are very, very. I mean, look at there, just right off the top, right? Transportation, roads, bridges, and major projects, right? So that major projects can go through a lot of different things, right? Again, it could be buildings, state and city, type of scenarios, federal buildings, stuff like that. It could be a lot of that kind of stuff, right? That's what I think that's about, that major projects, right? Better dams and stuff like that, just kind of paraphrase it. Right. So that's why that's the biggest, right? 110 billion going into that, because again, that's your those are your veins of your nation, right? The veins of the nation are your streets, the highways, byways, bridges, and stuff like that, right? Waterways and all. Y'all get it. So just think about that for a moment, for roads and bridges, and repairing something of that nature. What would you use to repair that road? Right off the top, you definitely need what material, right? For road, whether it be tar, concrete, or rocks or whatever, right? And then for bridges, definitely what? Steel, metal, beams, right? Aluminum, whatever, those are the most basic, right? Those are most basic things, right? Now, there's a lot of different stocks out there that deal with these specific things individually. Then there's some that deal with them all together in terms of an ETF. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with some of the ETFs out there that deals strictly with like infrastructure as a whole, right? Obviously improving that of a person's infrastructure, meaning that within the city, nation, whatever. There are ETFs out there that you can invest in that canvases all of that, right? And then there are the individual stocks, right? So just putting it out there. So if you guys know of any of those stocks, definitely post them in the back chat. Of course, I definitely know of some, but I like to get the family involved. I'm that kind of person, like to see people be interactive in these conversations, because it's not so much, again, I echo chamber, echo chamber. It's me, sharing and also allowing others to share it too, right? A multiplicity of ideas that we can utilize for investment value, right? So that's what makes this stuff great. So, Oba Christian Pot in the building. Peace, power, profit. Oba, see you in the house. Right, coming through.
Peace, power, and profit. Oba, how are you today?
Man, doing well, man. Just, kind of gearing up for Monday as always, because, the weekend is like the most, I hate to say it, but the weekend is the most depressing time for investors and traders, ain't it?
Yeah, I hate it, man.
You like, man, the market, let me go trade some crypto. That's basically what I do. I go hit the crypto runner, right? Matter of fact, I hit that OXY today. Was it OYX? I got you saying it wrong. I hit that one up again today. It bounced off that other point, 6. Ashe.
Thank you.
It shot up, and it
Thank
shot
you.
up to like what 7, it's like 0.073 or somewhere around there, right? So it's been trending pretty well recently because it has a lot to do with also a lot of the trending topics in terms of the metaverse and infrastructure. That particular network that they offer for the use case is linked to that, right? So that's why it's been getting a
Okay.
lot of different you know you know I guess attention, right? And there's a few other too,
Hmm.
because we spoke about Mana, right? I was posting about that one last week, right? Mana took off, right? Because
Yeah.
it's a decentralized, decentraland, right? Decentralized metaverse scenario, right? Of course, Mark Zuckerberg in his scenario that just brought that stock to life. Well, excuse me, that token to life like none other, and it was just a huge move, ran up over near 400%, right? And I literally was just posting that, like it was a game stat. Y'all probably in the group like Mr. in the posting, boy, he in there posting. But that little stock ran really well for us. I keep saying stock, but token, right? It's a token, crypto token, Mana, right? But anyway, so a lot of these things again are part of the ecosystem in a lot of ways that we're going to discuss. So far as roads, bridges, and major projects, again, that's $110 billion, right? So you already know, outside of the materials, you need the what? The equipment, right? So off the top, you guys already know who are the big equipment dealers who are going to benefit of helping these companies be able to or that they have already those kind of items in house, or if they have to rent them or whatever, to be able to utilize to be able to fix America, right? The roads, bridges, and all the other stuff, right? So again, without even waiting, what are some of the companies you guys already know on the, I should say, the mechanized side of things, right? The machine side of things that are probably going to benefit from this infrastructure bill, right? So of course, if you got an answer posted in the back chat on YouTube, some people already started dropping, right? Family on it, but they ain't playing around, right? So you got Pave, right? Oba Brandon definitely brought that one to our attention a while back. Shout out to Oba Brandon for that one, right? You got Infra, right? See, brother David on it, right? You got Infra, and we're gonna look at those. So Cat, brother Dave also got Deer. What's going on, Oba
ICLN.
J? Right? Say again, Oba. Right. Oh, you say, okay. Yeah. So, what's going on, brother Jay Shelton in the building? Peace, power, profit to you, and also Oba Dave in the building, right? So you got Vail. Somebody put Vail in there, right? Vail is a company out of, if I'm not mistaken, I think out of South America, right? They deal in oil and other stuff like that, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, I've traded them a while back. So yeah, so let's jump right into it, guys. So we get at it. So first one,
ICLN too.
which one?
ICLN.
ICLN, right? So dealing on the roads, bridges, and the material projects, right? In terms of mechanized and or materials that they're gonna need to fix these roads and do things that nature, right? So let's jump right in there. So first we got Pave, right? Pave, let's run over here, right? Let's run over here to let me make sure I change my share screen so we can get at the right screen. All right. Let's run over here to Trading View, and let's look at some of these stocks really quick here. All right, so we got right off the top we have Pave, right? Now Pave was one of the ones that again we talked about it a while back. Again, Oba Brandon brought it to our attention. Of course, I'd seen it a couple of times, but the extent of it, meaning at the time when the infrastructure bill idea was being thought of, it was definitely one worth being on the radar. And literally, have watched it literally kind of break above the 20-day moving average and just kind of creep up to the upside, leading into the ideal of the infrastructure bill. This has been just phenomenal, right? It's like, man, this stock here has just been Teflon done, all right? Because why? Numbers don't lie, we like to say, right? Charts don't lie, right? Look at that. And this is on the daily, right? You see the lows. Of course, we say the lows, the COVID lows, right? The stock got down to like $9 and change. And since then, it's just, it had been on a tear, right? It's up to $9, well, excuse me, $28 now. Now, a lot of people are like, man, that's only 9 to 28. That's not a lot. Well, it's an ETF. And it's one that has a specific, plethora of stocks that's underneath it. So, of course, there's always going to be a pull and push within that aspect of the ETF, right? In terms, some companies might be doing good, some of them might be doing bad that day, and that may, keep the stock from just lifting up, lifting off, and that's good anyway, because again, these are what the type of stocks that we like that can give you what they call just nice, steady, slow gains, right? They have low betas, meaning they're very non-volatile, right? The ATRs are not huge, but they give you nice, clean moves to the upside based upon the value that they offer, right? Through that plethora of stocks that are underneath it, right? Underneath that umbrella. And again, how useful is stocks that are dealing with infrastructure and roads and bridges and the mechanized value behind that the machines you need. Like somebody put cat and deer, right? The two main, right? Companies that deal with that have the machines to pave the roads and stuff like that, right? Or the truck in the rocks and all that stuff. So cat and deer definitely, right? So pave, has some of those stocks underneath it, right? So really quick, if we run over to let's run over here to Google real quick and let's pull up PAVE ETF, right? So we can kind of get an idea of some of the stocks that are in it, right? All right. So really quick here, let's run over here real quick. I should just have it on this change the screen to be easier, but I want to still be able to move through it without having any problems. Okay, so here we go. So PAVE ETF, right? As you see here, right? U.S. Infrastructure Development ETF, right off the top, right? right off the top, right? And then guess what? Morningstar gives it a what? A nice rating, right? 4-star rating. And if you guys familiar with Morningstar is pretty much one of the gold standard, publications out there, or research firms out there that really does a lot of backbone type of research for companies, right? Also, of course, we know about Moody's, right? Moody's is some of the top ones literally on the planet. Moody's definitely, but Morningstar definitely is, right? They have a very good reputation, right? So they gave it an overall rating of about 83 in terms of infrastructure funds value based on risk assessments and whatever, right? Risk adjustment returns, all that. So again, global ETF scenario, right out the gate, you already see what's going on there, right? No, right? No kind of questions with that, right? Right out the gate. So you're dealing with infrastructure, period. So this is the most complete, one of the most complete infrastructure plays out there that deals with a lot of the, what we discussed today. Now, in terms of its holdings, which we're going to look at here, that may vary, right? It's not going to just have everything that we probably feel like would be the dream team infrastructure play, but these are really companies that you probably never heard about, or you might have heard about them in passing, that make up a lot of small aspects of what makes infrastructure so relevant in terms of being able to be suppliers, right, of the goods that they need, right? Because a lot of the infrastructure stuff is definitely more product laden as opposed to service laden, right? You need, again, materials, right? Rocks and binders and metals and sand and all that stuff, right? So guess what? This is one of the ETFs that can kind of canvas some of that stuff too. So as you see right here, within the description, it says what? The Global X U.S. Infrastructure Development ETF pays seeks to invest in companies that stand to benefit from potential increase in infrastructure activity in the United States right out the gate, including those involved in the production of raw materials. There we go. Commodities are through the roof right now. So guess what? Those raw commodities are going to come with a cost. But guess what? That cost can get passed on to the American taxpayer or the government, one way or the other, right? They started the fire and they're going to have to find a way to put it out, meaning the government, right? A la, Jerome Powell, the printer, right? And then heavy equipment. There we go. Right now we're talking about cat, deer, all the other ones like that. Right? And there's some other ones too that we're going to discuss. You probably didn't think about, but we're going to look into those too. Right? Engineering, right? And then construction, right? Very I mean, that's it in a nutshell. That's infrastructure, right? In a nutshell, that's infrastructure as far as what we know in America. Raw materials, heavy equipment, engineering, and construction, right? And so again, the objective is to what? For the to seek to provide investment results that correspond generally to the price and yield performance before fees and expenses, right, of the index, right, the U.S. Infrastructure Development Index. So just some raw numbers, really quick, of course, at this point, right? Expense ratio is at 0.47%, right? That's just basically saying, at this point, this reflects the total annual expense associated with the ownership of the fund, including but not limited to the management fees, right? And then acquired funds for expenses referred to the funds manager, right? So that's just saying what it costs, right, for the fund, right? Net assets is over $5 billion. That's finna go up. Net assets at $5 billion. That's finna go up. Now that this bill is passed, obviously, right? And then again, the NAV value, net terms of the price and all that, it sits at what? $28.21. And chances are that's probably gonna go up too, right? All right. So there's the QC number, ISA, IN, all that stuff, the back end, right? The fundamental stuff within that, right? Shares outstanding sits at about 177 million. So pretty much, decent value float. If that's close to the ideal to float when the shares outstanding, right? And the number of holdings, right? It has 99 holdings in it in this portfolio. So that's a lot. So that means it's weighted pretty equally across all these different particular companies that deal with raw materials, heavy equipment, engineering, and then construction items, right? So that's important, right? So really good to know that, right? So 30-day medium back, being asked, spread is about 0.04%. So again, that means in a nutshell, this is just pretty much within the spread, meaning how much it trades in between the bid and the ask on the average basis, right? And this on the 30-day window look like. So not bad. That's a low beta when you see stuff like that. Very low beta. It's not like Tesla, right? Tesla have a spread like by $5 or $6 sometime when they get to running, right? I mean, if you're gonna buy in on the ads, that means you already down $7, $6 before the stock even run, right? If you buy on the market order, right? So yeah, so they have a low one. All right, 30-day SEC yield value at 0.61. All right, and then see right there, that's when they distribute their value, right? It's semi-annually. So they do it twice a year, right? As opposed to quarterly, like you get with most companies, right? So at least they pay a yield, right? So not bad. All right. So jumping right down to it real quick. Again, you can see the performance of the stock. Of course, it has done very well since we've got more into conversation about infrastructure, right? It went from 12 to 14 over 3-year scenario. And then just recently it went up like 50%, right? Well, we know it actually doubled that, because of COVID, right? Why? Because the chart showed you that it was at 9 and 2020, right? During March. And now, it's sitting up here at $28, right? So definitely, done more than just doubled and tripled, right? So roughly, man, a nice bag, right? Nice bag, right? Right? A nice bag, right? And again, we say that because that's your money being in a place where it's pretty much what they call a given, because all you had to assess the idea that, okay, well, how important is infrastructure, number one, but number two, you got somebody campaigning on what, even with Trump, right? Trump was talking about what, make America great again. Yeah, they spoke about the ideal of infrastructure bill too. It didn't get done under his tenure or his watch, but it was definitely something that people knew that just need to get done because they kept kicking that can down the road. So one way or the other, it was going to kind of come to the forefront that it would need to be discussed. And lo and behold, right? So this ETF was just right on time, and it gave someone a really great investment that had pretty decent money that they could put into it and just let it sit. Right. So that's again from $9 on the lows up to 28 now. I'll take that all day, every day. Right. All day, every day. Right. So some of this top holdings, right? As you can see here right out the gate, right? That's why I said it's evenly distributed. We're having so many stocks in it. That's a lot of different stocks, and that's good because it is spread out. Right. It's not like just one big power player and everybody else just whatever. Right. So Nucor, right, is the top one. Now, what makes this great because we're seeing the ETF for what it is, but then now you're saying the specific companies that deal strictly with things that have to do with infrastructure. Again, raw materials that we discussed, right? The idea of engineering, heavy equipment, and construction. These are some of the companies out there that make that happen. So guess what? Even on the individual basis, these companies might get some lift off come Monday, right? So again, you dig a little deep, right? Just dig deep, right? Some of them different, depends on where they are, meaning their chart, whatever. But we're not gonna go through all of them. We just using that as a conversation to say, well, yeah, these are some of the companies, but guess what? Not just the ETF. Now you can go find the individual company and think about positioning those potentially, right? Especially if you're trading options. You may get that opportunity, right? You may, right? It's all about to strategically putting together a plan. Right? What's going on, Overson? I see you crept in the building, right? Over here trying to
Hey,
get these.
peace.
Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Right. So yeah. So these are some of those stocks again. That's that's going to be relevant and prevalent to look at, right? So right out the gate. So you guys maybe know about Nucor, right? Nucor is definitely Nucor, right? It's been around for a minute, right? They definitely no spring chicken. So really quick, we'll do like a couple of them. We gonna go over the top, all right? But we're gonna look at a couple of them, right? New is like cheap. It's been cheap for a minute, but it's been trying to again, these are stocks that they need projects, right, to make money. Now, granted, on the cold lows, this stock got down to maybe like $8-9 too, and it's only sitting at 13 now. So it had a very low creep, since March of last year to today. Right? Hold up, wrong stock. I'm sorry. I put move. It's new. Excuse me. New car should be more than that because I remember seeing stock a while back. I'm like, what's
I'm
this new
feeling
stuff?
like Neo.
Right, Neo in the Matrix.
Man, I was the other day, I was like, oh shoot, I kind of feel what he was saying.
Yeah, oh yeah. So it's going to get really, really interesting here. Of course, I'm just saying market just in general. The ideal of these opportunities that's going to start opening up even more. So again, long or short, y'all know we're very unbiased in our perspective. So let's jump over here to TradingView real quick and let's check out this new core stock really quick. And you can see what I'm talking about here. This stock was at $26, right, on the COVID lows, right? I remember seeing the stock last year, even before that course, 2017, 2018, all that. This stock was sitting at, literally, again, if you go back, you can see the extent of this stock just kind of been, doing well. Then it kind of turned off a little bit. Then it just started to pick up recently here over the past, let's say, 6 years, really, what brought it back down to its double bottom or below that was COVID lows. Outside that, it was in a nice little uptrend, slow and methodical. And then somebody ignited them with a bottle rocket, right? Somebody attached the bottle rocket to their back and sent them to the moon, right? Literally. Right, look at that move, off the COVID lows at $26 a share, and now you're sitting up here at 112. Right, now you're sitting at 112. Right, you hit your peak around about 130. See, keep in mind, all that happened in the matter of what, a year and about 8 or 9 months. Are you kidding me? Right, it's that kind of reality. Right, stock is up, well over 400%, somewhere around there, 300 to 400%. You couldn't make this stuff up. The opportunities are bound because everybody knew infrastructure was going to be a major value, right? They got other projects they do. Of course, they're not just sitting around waiting on the infrastructure bill, but it was in tandem fuel on their fire on this stock to go literally parabolic, right? This will be a parabolic investment if you ask me, because how many stocks put up 400% in that of a year and 8 months, right? Again, you think about those kind of returns with a person who's sitting on a savings account, they ain't getting really nothing on their money market account, whatever. And you're like, I need other ways to kind of invest my life, in my life and my money. How can I find opportunities that can give me something if I could just get 10% a year, 7% a year? And this stock gave you every bit about near 400% about a year and 8-9 months. So that basically 2 years, you didn't got roughly near 200% a year annually in aggregate value. Of course, what I'm saying, in estimate value, right? Look, see, this is why this stuff is great, right? This is why this stuff is great, because again, it has unmatched, unparalleled returns that you can gain if you know how to strategically place some new runs together and come up with a good thesis strategy. Kind of find these opportunities out there in these stocks that offer you great returns on your investment, right? Then that's beating pretty much a lot of other stuff that's out there. And the risk value in this is that, course, you get to monitor it, you get to keep up with everything they're doing through the press releases and SEC filings and whatever, right? The idea that money may get allocated to them through governments. And look, not rocket science, guys. I keep telling people that every day. They think this stuff is so over their head, but it's not. right? Right? It's not. You guys can learn this stuff, right? And so definitely, come Monday, new core obviously may get a nice little move off this news, even though the chart, leading into it definitely looks like it's in it was in the head and shoulder pattern, right? Definitely looks like it, right? But obviously, right, it was showing that, right? So you right back at that point where it had to kind of break out, or you're just going to hit that resistance there. So this gives it the kind of ability, potential to break out of that potential head and shoulders that it was starting to make here, this long-term position, because these people here probably, like everybody, just waiting on the infrastructure bill to get passed. So it's like, oh man, we're getting tired, man. We need to see these people cut this check or not, right? Well, guess what? The check just got cut, not as much as they wanted, meaning people's waiting on, but nonetheless, a check got cut. So guess what? New is going to benefit from that, right? So you got some liftoff room, definitely up to the top of that linear regression band. Nothing else. Not to say it's going to go all the way up there Monday. Y'all know this stuff go. This is just preparatory planning of a thought. If the money obviously seems to be favorable for the company to start, strategizing their business around by value of it's in that PAVE ETF, right? Meaning if people buy the ETF, some of that money obviously going to flow into PAVE, right? And people that may buy the company individually, they also going to benefit, meaning the company off that. So yeah, this stock could easily find itself back up towards that top of that linear regression band, up near its highs, literally around about 130, right? Sitting at, obviously in this case, 112 now. It got a good little way to go, but again, that's the ideal of how you start looking at these for potential opportunities, because that's a check that's going to get cut. That's not a if and might and maybe check. That's a check that's going to get cut, right? It's a done deal at this point, right? And Wall Street likes these kind of moments where they can say, okay, well, that's a cut check. All right, we're gonna see how we're gonna utilize this money for markets, and that's what they do. They forward, forward think these opportunities and invest in them accordingly, right? So I'm pretty sure, before people knew what if they felt like it's gonna get passed, it seemed to be pretty much a done deal, because it was nothing else out there they can do in terms of being able to get both the bills together. They knew that they was able to get the infrastructure done, if nothing else, right? So they front loaded it, so people who already knew about the stock was already going to front load it. Why wouldn't they, right? Yeah, I mean, that's a done deal. That big gonna get passed this weekend, right? Well, let me show you exactly what I'm talking about, right? As they said, we can show you better than we can tell you, right? That we don't just be over here just selling people stuff. We don't. That's what we don't do. But we like to back everything we talk about with primary sources, right? That's what we do. Right? It's part of methodology, right? Proper methodology, right? So let's go over here really quick, right? See what's going on right here. This is the option flow chain, right? Flow chart for new, right? For new, right? All right. So this is going into literally, that closed out this week. Now it's going into next week. So let's look at next week. Now that was what it looked like last week, right? You saw the call to put ratio, right? Going into next week, a lot of those people who were still maybe contrarian, on the put side, they bought a little extra, but the call still seemed to be more, the front runner in terms of the sentiment, right? We see more calls and puts. That mean that's a bullish sentiment, right? Calls definitely means long, puts definitely means short, right? Meaning the stock's gonna come down. So people still favor the long side than they do of the short side. And again, this is all leading up into the idea of the infrastructure bill being passed, right? So a lot of that was aggressive last week. This week, it's going to find a whole new different lane to jump into. And look at the price of some of these contracts, dirt cheap. When I say dirt cheap, meaning, add around $100 for about a $2 or $3 move, right? Right. So that means the stock probably has an ATR around about the same, right? All right, $2 or $3 on basic value on a daily movement. So the stock's sitting at 112 now. So the 115 sitting at $1.45 a contract. The 116 sitting at $1.15. See, some people started to buy those last week ahead of the infrastructure bill. 192 on that open interest. It's going to open it, but daily volume 533, 343, 197s, and then some out even towards the 120. Those contracts cost 45 cents a contract. So basically $45, right? So again, if the stock obviously gets lift off, this if was a fifth, we all be drunk, of course. If the stock does get lift off, guess what? Those 45-cent contracts gonna make a little money come Monday. They're gonna do a little something strange for a little piece of change, right? Get excited. Right. So that's the power of being what they call a forward fronter, or forward thinker. Right. You play chess, not checkers over here. Right. That's how you get to the bag. Right. You play chess, not checkers. Right. Because again, it's just an assessment of again, looking at how markets work, the value within that, in terms of finding opportunity out there in the marketplaces, right? The most, odd places that you probably think to look, guess what? They're over there getting it in, right? They have opportunity to offer you, right? So yeah, you best believe, this stock gonna get some attention potentially Monday, potentially. Right? I got to keep saying that because people jump out the window. Oh, I'm gonna go all in. No, we don't do that over here, right? This is not investment advice. These are just what educated opinions, right? Based upon connecting the dots, right? That's what we do over here. We connect the dots, right? We try to see where value may lie or lay at, right? And so new is definitely one of those ones who surely can get some benefit from this come Monday, right? So just put that out there, right? So not spending a whole lot of time on that because, like I said, we don't want to go through every single stock and be here going through that. But I like to make sure that when we discuss these things, we provide the proper context. So with people who are very new to this, this don't go over their head, right? Because a lot of people like, man, this stuff man, it seems like a lot, they get intimidated by it. But what you realize over time is that as an average everyday citizen, products, services, bills and debt and how stuff works on that level, you start begin to realize that, okay, this is just like, me going to buy, Heinz ketchup. And then, yeah, the stock is also, the company is publicly traded. Okay. Yeah. What would be the use case of me, not buying the stock since I buy this ketchup all the time, right? Literally. Right. Or I seen this billboard about this construction company. Right. They must be pretty good if they get making it on the billboard. And you go research, find out it's a public traded company. You go look at the chart. Okay, the start looked like it was here, and now it's way up here. So they must have did pretty well, right? That stuff right there is not rocket science. You could teach again 7-year-old. You could teach a 7-year-old literally to the extent of exactly what we're talking about, right? So we want people to be more, hands-on with this and not be intimidated by it. Learn it. Of course, don't just jump out there and think this is a gambling house because this is not what this is, right? This is about making strategic decisions with your money, right? So look at that. So yeah, so the calls look very, swollen, and then the puts look very anemic, right? Going into next week. Now, again, it can either be a sell, buy the room or sell the news event, and the stock can pull back. Yeah, definitely could happen, right? Markets are crazy, right? All right. There's no blueprint to the ideal of thinking how investors will, particularly take certain aspects of news, in their liking. Now, that also has to go along with some other things like charts and all that too, right? Chart setup in this right here looks pretty decent for the most part. You got a 20-day moving average sitting there at your back door at 107. So guess what? Even if you had a moment like that, again, it will at least hit that 107 and bounce, for the first part of it. And then if it don't hold there, of course, you can, it can get a little ugly. But in the same breath, it's at a mean line, right? It's at the mean line of this head and shoulders that was starting to print out. This news now becomes, liquid fire to the company or the investors. And they say, okay, I'm going to buy more now. And I'm going to get a chance to possibly go back to all-time high, possibly, right? And they just had earnings recently too. Guess what? They beat, right? They beat the EPS and they beat their what? On their revenue, right? And they beat on their revenue, right? Not crazy numbers, but that's good, right? Anytime you can beat in environments like this with what inflation high as it is and commodities cost, which a company like this deals with what raw materials more or less than anybody, that's a good beat, right? And the stock went up on a bit. Look what happened, right? It was at what $98, and it went up and hit as high as what 114, right? And this is in a matter of what 12, 13 days, somewhere around if that, right? 10, 12 days, somewhere around there. So that's a really good return, right? That's a really good return. Right. So yeah, it went up on this day, what, from 102 to 109. So that means it has the ability to make a nice little move in the intraday. So that's about what? That's a 6-point move. Right? That's about a 6-point move, 6-7-point move in a day. So yeah, this stock does have the ability it might can break out, but that puts some kind of ignition behind the option trader, like, oh, okay, I could buy the money a little bit, right? But anyway, y'all get my point. All right, so that's it. So I don't want to get anybody the wrong impression that I'm saying go buy it. That's not the case. But you guys connecting the dots here, right? Y'all with me? You guys getting it, right? See the people in the back chat still posting some stocks. That's good. Right. So yeah, so that's how you want to look at that. So that's new core. All right. And then of course, after that, you got a few more. We're gonna look at a couple more just their names, and we're gonna keep it moving because we won't spend too much time going through this, and we definitely get the panel involved. We got over Chris and again over Sun in the building, right? Got some bright minds in the house as well. Everybody on the YouTube side and the the Facebook side tuning in. Thank you again, and we appreciate you. Right. So really quick here, if you look over to, I'm sharing now. Okay. The next one is what? Eaton Corp, right? You guys probably heard of Eaton Corp. Definitely I have, right? Nothing new there, right? So Eaton Corp is another one. It's weighted at 3.2% on this, holding portfolio. That's a nice little amount, right? Again, the top one is 355. So that means they're getting some definitely some they call spend time, right? From a DJs out there, right? That record, they're getting some spend time too, right? 3.28%, of 99 stocks. Yeah, that's nice. Right. So after that, you got Rockwell. Definitely heard of them. Right. Right. So you might want to, again, these are stocks that you can follow along, write them down, come back and look at this and say, okay, I'm going to check these out later. You got Kansas City Southern, right? They go to rail cars, right? They go to rail cars or the transportation industry as a whole, rail systems, right? We know we have a supply chain issue bottleneck where boats can't offload goods and services from the cargo plane, right? The cargo containers. But rail systems, still, can move, stuff intermodal value, throughout the nation, other stuff. So once they do get through all this, cargo boat, debacle, then guess what? Rail system definitely gonna pick up because there's a lot of cargoes that need to be either offloaded or transported individually, to their destination. So, and with this infrastructure bill, that may help a little bit. The bottleneck, we'll know when it happens, but Kansas City Southern and many others like CSX and all those the rail companies, Canadian Pacific, they will get a little bump potential off this here, right? There it is. This one here is at the fourth holding, so that lets you know they do carry weight. And then here's one that I was going to speak about, but I'm happy they already have it up here. A lot of people probably need to think about this company here. Are you guys familiar with United Rentals by any chance? Anybody on over Chris, over Sonny, you guys familiar with them? You guys familiar with United Rentals Incorporated? By any chance, anybody in the back chat, YouTube, you guys familiar with United Rentals?
I heard of them before.
You've heard them? Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I don't
All
know
right.
much about them, but heard the name.
Yeah. Right. Because you've been around a little second. So you definitely, have seen these stocks before, heard of them in passing. And United Rentals go back a minute, right? Because the name in itself implies exactly what they do, right? They're a rental company for what? Heavy equipment. How important is that? Right? They deal with heavy equipment. Rental,
Gotta
right?
transport.
Yeah, scaffolds and stuff like that, and the little what they call the crank them lifts that take people up the building and stuff like that. That's what United Rentals rent out. They rent stuff like that, a lot of stuff like that. So they're very important, right? In a scenario like this, right? So United Rentals, being around for a minute too. Of course, again, you see this, the extent that their holdings in the company, 2.93%. Market value sitting at 147 million. Right, shares held to 381,000. Right, at a market share value looking at 385. Right, so the stock ain't no cheapie. So I let you know it's been working over the years. Right, so United Rentals definitely can benefit from this. Right, they're definitely going to get them a nice little potential bang out of this. Right, because again what's the case? The use case here is what it's astronomical, right? It's very obvious that it's going to get what they call some spend time, right? We keep using that terminology. So really quick, I do want to come over here and look at least the chart on that one. Now it's been it's been rocking and rolling since COVID anyway, but really quick, let's look at the daily chart here on URI, right? United Rentals, right? United Rentals here. Let's see here. There we go. All right, so right off the gate, you see what's going on here, right? This is a stock that's been very strong, right? Very rewarded because of COVID, right? Very rewarded because of COVID. Again, this is the COVID low. COVID low stock got down to $59. This stock was $59 a share off the COVID lows. Now it's sitting at $391. And it gapped up Friday because of the infrastructure bill. Stop playing. People that act like they don't really deal with that. And I just had earnings recently too, of course, right? But this is what 6-7 days days after earnings, right? Earnings, you saw what it did. The stock actually pulled back and then it bounced. People like, oh no, this is too big of a good opportunity because the infrastructure bill is close to being passed. So regardless of what the numbers might have looked like, and this, the broader market was kind of pulling back too, because look what happened on the SPY. See right here? Yeah, a little pullback too, right? So this was a broader market pullback, even though it happened during the time of their earnings, right? Obviously, they missed on EPS and they beat on their revenue slightly, but it's still, nonetheless, they didn't miss bad on either or, beat bad on either or. They just kind of came in at neutral. That was more excuse to say, okay, we already near the bottom of the band, let it rip, right? And that's exactly what happened. It bounced from 345. Now you're seeing that 391. That's a $50 move in what 6-7 days. 50-point move in 6-7 days. See, it's that kind of stuff. Like people like, man, where these stocks be at, man? I don't never find them stocks like that, bro. How you be finding, man? Look, I'm reading just like you reading now, but doing intraday when I do find it is because I'm doing stuff just like this. I'm searching for news articles and I'm researching out trending topics and things that have to do with geopolitical news, current events. That's how you become a more thorough investor. Period. You have to get in the game of saying, let me, broaden my spectrum, my horizons and my optics and my viewpoints and start looking for opportunity in more ways than you can even imagine. It's so many different companies out there that are publicly traded. It's crazy. Once you get some of the mainline, in my opinion, industries down to to a point where you just know who the top players. I mean, then you can go, a little deeper, do the deep dive and find the companies themselves. Pick, like you go from technology, right? You know all the major players in technology, right? You deal with materials and consumer staples and healthcare. You know some of the top players, right? It gets better once you start to dig down into that a little bit and find those individual companies like a United Rentals, right? And been watching United Rentals for years, right? And this baby ain't been nothing but short of, just a wild beast savage over the since COVID. Since COVID, it's just been on a tear, and it's up at the top of the band now. Cause you see it blew out of it, blew off top up here, right? Got always as high as what hit like 396. And then it kind of pulled back inside the band, which is natural because again, you still got to deal with technicals and say, well, you might be overbought a little bit, but we do understand markets can remain rational loan, they can remain solvent. So guess what? This stock come Monday, regardless of it sitting up here or not, it may get a pop too, right? It may get a pop too, right? And they already showed you the strength how it came off the top here. Excuse me, the bottom here on this trough move bounce and march right back to the top of the band here. And hit some resistance, notably so, right? 50-point move in 7 days. I'll take that all day, every day, any day of the week, right? And it shows you throughout the whole aspect of this latest trend going back as far as June, how the stock has respected this linear regression band, kind of moving inside of it pretty thoroughly, testing the bottoms of holding, marching back up to the mean line reversion or going a little higher, which in this case, blowing off top a little bit above the band, pull back inside of it, come back to that mean line, trade add a little bit, show a little weakness, pull back to the bottom of it. It's just been, seesaw inside of this band. But ultimately, what's intact here? The uptrend, right? That's one thing you see here. The stock is in the uptrend. That's why I tell people, don't get caught up in the, sometimes you long-term minded, you got to get out of the day-to-day action of stocks. If they are a great growth story, let the company work. Let them work. That's like you on the job, someone trying to come around you and micromanage you every day. Like, you wouldn't like that, right? Yeah, man, let me work, man. Let me do my thing. Right? I'm straight, right? Right. That's how some of these companies need to be looked at too. You still watch them and monitor them, of course, but you let them do their thing because they are a strength analysis that that's going to handle business. Right. And that's how you let your money work for you. You just let that money just go out there and work, keep working. Right. You let it go do its thing. And that's exactly what this market been providing for that of what? URI, United Rentals. Right. I mean, again, it's just that's the beauty. That's the thing of beauty right there. I mean, you can't even fit it all in the chart, because it's just been ramping up to the upside and just before that, United Rentals was just kind of still doing well, but it was going, kind of caught in it. Okay, peak the trough, establishing itself again, going back 2016, it really took a hit, a big hit, right? Before even COVID, right? It got down as low as like about 40 some odd dollars a share. And then it bounced back strong, over the next 2 years, right? This coming into Trump. That was the next big move to happen because of Trump, right? This whole Make America Great Again. He told all these infrastructure companies like URI and many others like that, Cat and Deere, he was going to make them great again. So guess what they started doing? Them stocks started ramping on the Trump. True story. right? As you can see here clearly, I'm not making this up, right? That was just clearly people buying it, into that whole idea that Trump was, going to do this and do that, whatever, right? And then COVID happened again, of course, and whatever, right? So that's just, thought processes, rambling through it a little bit. That's how you do it as an investor. You ramble through opportunity. You think through it. You talk through it, and you make sense. You go look up publications. You go look up charts. You go look at the financials. You get excited, about that kind of information because at some point you're gonna get a lot more information than you probably bargained for, and it's gonna be useful for you, right? It's gonna be useful whether you do or you don't pull a trigger. It was still useful information. Right. So it's no bad information when you learn something in the market. Trust me on that. Even if you don't act on the stock, that was still some good intel building. You learned about industry, you learned about companies, you learned about publications and how things work. And now you got something to work with, definitely going forward, right? That's exciting, right? That's exciting. All right. So that's why I say don't, take it for what it's worth. This is good information, right? It's good. It's good to know this, right? All right. And it's getting a little dark. I'm gonna cut my light on here in a minute. All right. So yeah, so that's how you want to look at this, right? That's how you look at this. So you guys with me so far a little bit here, right? I see somebody in the back already talking about it. Yeah. So you said I rent from them regularly. See my man, right? All right. CTX Quail, right? So you guys definitely see how this stuff works. Just exactly how you do it. See, I work for Brother Jay. You work for asphalt company. So yeah, you definitely know about United Rentals, right? You guys definitely know about United Rentals then. Right, so definitely no secret there, right? So somebody put CSX, yep, IGF, yep. So you guys are on it, man. See, this is why y'all, man. See, this is why y'all aliens. I keep telling y'all, right, right. So yeah, so Monday, I should say Monday, right, instead of Sunday. These are some of those companies that's gonna benefit, and I'm using Pave because Pave is definitely the one that has a lot of these weighted holdings that a lot of people are going to be looking for, to potentially possibly getting into. Potentially, right? Got to keep saying that. So, just on GP, just for the idea of the put the call ratio in United Rentals going into the next week. Yes, yeah, 0.059 for the put the call ratio. So people definitely feeling more, intraday. They was buying some calls. It's about, different nice little differential there. And the open interest is obviously odd because people, looking at the stock saying it's overbought in their mind. Of course, it's up here at the top of the integration band. Yeah, it makes sense. Right, but they don't necessarily mean it can break and go high because of this news, right? So that's something to kind of reckon with, in your mind, whether it's, worthy of buying it that high or not. So again, you got some little buying around the 400 strike price. The 76 contracts came in Friday for next week. At $3.30 a contract at that 400 strike. 390 is at 16. People come in at $7.80 a contract, and then the 395 is at 510. Right? Actually, they made bank last week too. Well, Friday because the stock was up, of course, uptrending. Right? So 40%, 30%. I see some 80% here. So yeah, so some money there. So, but it's just something to look at. I'm looking at the flow chart real quick. So people are like, what are you talking about? I want to see what you're looking at. I'm looking at bar chart. Y'all know, follow along, right? Go to bar chart. All right. So yeah, so stuff like that. Again, you dig a little bit, you mess around and turn over some good piece of information. You be like, okay, I can work with this, right? I can work with this. That's how you get, become stable in this. That's how you become, foundated in the ideal of becoming a better investor. Period. Right. So, some work with there. You learn how to hunt. You learn how to fish better. Right. That's what we're trying to make. Become the gospel, so to speak. Right. Teach people how to fish and hunt better, as opposed to just sitting around waiting on fish. Right. So, next one, of course, you got Vulcan Materials. Right. Right in their name, telling you who they are. Vulcan Materials. Right. Tells you definitely right in their name who they are. Right. Vulcan Materials. Right. And an aspect to what they do, if you just do like what do you call, like I just did like a little right click, right, and Google their name. That's what makes this up great, because people are like, you got to know all these places to go. Like, no, man, just Google stuff, right? Stop, right? Just Google, hit Google, right? Right to Google, it tell you exactly what they're about, and it's pretty much obvious, right? Because they tell you what they are or what they do in their name. They deal with materials, right? We know the cost, raw materials, right? Well, not just cost, but just raw materials as a whole, commodity markets, right? Right. Dealing with the stuff that we're talking about, right? Right. So no secret there. If you run over to, Vocal Materials, just really quick, just a quick soft search, right? So right here it says Vocal Materials, a Fortune 500 company. Vocal Materials is a good company to work for. With the Vocal Materials operate, all this stuff, blah, blah, right? Construction aggregates, right? Vocal Materials is the nation's largest. I was at the pause right there. It's the nation's largest producer of construction aggregates, primarily crushed stone. We talked about that earlier. Them rocks that you need, the gravel, right, to fix bridges and roads and all. Man, look, stuff ain't rocket science. Crushed stone, sand, gravel, and major producer of aggregates based on construction materials, including, there's your black asphalt for all my street racers out there. That black asphalt, that thing be smelling real strong when they lay it, including asphalt and ready mixed concrete. Let that marinate for a moment. Vulcan Materials. Is that not a benefit or a beneficiary of the bill back, or not the bill back, excuse me, the infrastructure bill? Is this not a beneficiary of that? Of course it is. Those are everything that you're gonna need to, fix these raggedy roads up and down, the Rust Belt, right? Especially up your Ohio and Michigan and up Illinois, man. There's some raggedy, especially Michigan, but some raggedy roads up there with all that snow and that salt. Man, look, but you can't go up there with no big rims. There's still those be some brothers up there with them big rims, but you don't have that flat road like you got in the South where you can just cruise around and clean. But them roads up there, knock your hubcap off. But you be buying new rims every month, boy. Them roads up there so bad. So that's the extent of that. Again, that's a great opportunity. That's a great opportunity right there. Again, not investment advice. We're just going over opportunity. Sand, gravel, stone, material. You gotta love that, right? So if you go look at their chart, of course, you know how we do this real quick. Again, like I said, I'm not gonna go through every single one, but I do want to hit some. I want to be able to, canvas, exactly, you know, the ideal of how some of this stuff can be very useful, right? We talking about use case, right? So vocal material is definitely not, one that's, that's new. It's been around for a little minute too. Not, definitely not new to me. Uh, let's go here. I keep hitting that one, wrong one. Share button. There we go. Share screen. Let's go. Let's go. There we go. Vocal. All right. So clearly you see what's going on here, right? As they say, charts pretty much give you the backdrop of what's going on here. And the numbers don't lie, right? Stop COVID lows. There we go. COVID lows. There we go. Right. COVID lows stock hit what, $64 a share. Now the stock's sitting at 196. Right. Now it's sitting at 196. So roughly around about when they're 307%, 300% move. Right. 300% plus move. Dang near. Since a year and 8 months ago. I mean, like, let's go, right? Let's go, right? Vulcan Material. Again, the people that y'all probably never thought, man, the company, they the world's, well, excuse me, not the world's, they are the nation's largest producer of gravel, stone, probably sand, all the composite that make up concrete, all that. They got all that in-house. Vulcan, right? Right? Even their name sound about that life, right? Yeah, Vulcan. It's some Star Trek stuff. Right? And look at this chart. Same way. Respect the 200 moving average here several times, bouncing off of here, right? And lifting off from it, right? Because again, this company here was being front run, right, for the idea of the infrastructure bill, not rocket science. They knew eventually this bill was going to get passed, or some aspect of it or iteration of it was going to get passed. So people saying, okay, it's bouncing 200 moving averages, respecting its holding, it's finding support here. Let me buy into the potential bill. Boom, they did it. 170, 196, 26-point move in about what, 12, 13 days. And they just had earnings recently, right? So it's stuff like this, right? So this money here, okay, I'm only saying this because this check here just got cash, right? It's just waiting to go down range now and hit all the people that's going to benefit from it, right? Meaning the bill just got passed, right? The infrastructure bill got passed. So these companies waiting to benefit off some of that cash, right? So that's why we're looking at it from that perspective, right? Now these projects go on for years. Now keep in mind, they don't just fix a road, in one day, right? Let's stop playing, right? These projects gonna take a minute to get, blueprinted and schematics and all that, and people to be out there doing the land surveying and which ones they're gonna projects that they're gonna be able to get, especially if they're a nationwide company where they can have different, operatives, around the country. All this stuff got to go into play. If they already haven't done it, that's what they're gonna be trying to do, and they're gonna try to be, go where the money at, where they can get them contracts, right? So yeah, Vulcan definitely gonna be one of the ones in there. Like, hey, we got the materials, right, and we got inflation going, so the cost of them is a little expensive. So get what? Since the government cutting the check, we can charge the government what they want, and they ain't gonna be skimping. They cause a problem, they might well pay for it. True story, right? So again, something to look at, right? Something to look at, right? Right. You say, brothers, CTS Square said, I can't wait to buy shares of Vulcan so I can talk to the right, talk trash to the cashier to tell him who works for me. That's what I'm talking about. Shout out to you, fam. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go. All right. So
Hey,
it's just
Oba.
ideas. Yeah, go ahead, over. Mhm.
Okay. If you have a company, we'll say this company has a target price that it's trying to hit, right? So
Mhm.
say
Or like an
by
analyst estimate target. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, but I'm
Okay.
talking about the company's estimate, right?
Mhm.
How does a person at home determine if that they're just trying to pump it up to inflate it, or that it's an accurate perception or close to accurate perception?
Well, technically, if you look at like when you go to the fundamentals, right? GP real quick. Let's run over the FinViz just on this one real quick, right? And let's put in Vulcan, right? VMC is the ticker symbol. All right, let me share my screen. 1 second. 1 second here. And let me get up in the hot second and cut my light on in my office here. I'm sitting in the dark. I don't mind being in the dark, right? I do my best work in the dark, burning the midnight candles, right? All right, but just on GP here, right? Right. FinViz is great for stuff like this, and just kind of give you your ideal of what, from a brief overlook, what the company looks like, right? Through its fundamentals and chart perspective, right? Let me get this mess off here. Yeah, we've got some mess going on here. So right here, it says that they have a what? A PE of 38.72, right? Right. So that means, that's, that percentage value to their actual book value, right? Or to within that value of cash value and a sales book, that kind of puts you in the ideal of, where they are in terms of their competitor, right? Meaning if they're being traded at a premium, right? Like you kind of asking, what's the true value in a sense? I guess I'm paraphrasing a little bit your question in that perspective, right? Well, this kind of gives you a little bit of understanding because now you can base that based upon what the shares they have outstanding to that of their market cap. They got a market cap of 25 billion, right? They're pulling in income around about 675. So that's basically after the EBITDA, been calculated, right? Earnings before interest, tax, and debt amortization, right? They walk away around about 675 million. That out of 25 billion, that's not bad. That's when they pay everything and do all that, how that stuff go. So in terms of that, now I don't know how many shares. I have to go look and see what many shares they got. But just to kind of see what the shares outstanding look like in relation to that of the share price, we can kind of get that formula of the earnings per share value to see whether or not they're being priced pretty well. Now, the earnings that they had just recently pegged them at around about $1.65. So again, up here around this price here is just showing that they got a P4P around about 38. Yeah, they're trading at a premium. Granted, right? But on top of that, I said, but on top of that, uh, their aspect of product work that they're being able to produce, meaning contracts, whatever, is giving them or granting them that level of a premium. And this whole infrastructure thing, right? It's really going to increase that, use case, all right? Because we go back to that use case scenario, possibly even more. Does that make sense a little bit over Sunny?
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah, I mean I kind of already figured it out. I just figured I throw out a question out there so you don't think I'm not paying attention.
oh no, you're already there. You know how we roll, right? So we got the fam in the groups, or because again, this is a part of being able to think tank, right? To think your way through it, right? So that's a gift that you have, right? You came in and was able to kind of connect the dots like pretty quickly, right? Because a lot of this stuff, like I said, I tell people every day, a lot of it just average, real world, everyday stuff. If you just pay attention to it, you start to realize, oh, this makes sense, especially if you're a business person, right? Business people definitely know how to assess businesses, right? Because you deal within it, right? And everybody want their business to be, you know, the one, right? The jump off, right? Right? The one that's about that life. So you kind of measure your success by other businesses, right? Not people, but their businesses, right? And the extent, if you had that kind of capital to work with, what would you do with it? Right? You already know what you would do with it, right? So the extent that Wall Street looks at you and says, okay, well, you know, on paper, you really only worth this much because of what you have in the bank, your debt equity ratio, right? Your liability to cash flow. But we know your future is bright because you will potentially be able to gain this much in market share per year, right? That's what they kid into what they call future valuations. Future valuations are always going to supersede what you look like right now in the present finance because they know you're going to grow into this opportunity, right? Of worth, so to speak, right? So that's how companies or stock investors say, well, shucks, I like the business model, right? I like the potential growth here. So yeah, I'm just gonna buy a whole, buy a whole, buy a whole, dollar cost average, DCA, whatever, and just allow the share value, to do what it's gonna do because over time it's gonna continuously what growing. And so you see a share price to go from $40 to 100 or 40 to 300. Like, man, how that's even pop? And it happened in short order time frame, right? It happened very quickly. You're like, man, this is crazy. Yeah, it looks overbought and over, when terms of overbought, when we say price or the chart looks like, but here's where it gets interesting about investing and trading. I've yet to meet an investor today to complain about why the stock price is just too high. In the essence that it made a move, right? Because it's going to come down at some point and bounce out at some point if it just make one of the parabolic move. But we talking about a stock that has well over like a year, let's say the year preceding where the stock may have had a problem, right? It wasn't trading that much. You might have got maybe 20% for the entire year, 17, 16% on an annual growth basis. But this year, right, the stock went up like 70, 80%. Like, rarely do you hear people complain about how they're making money, and that's the problem. Or this ain't good for the company. We just making too much share. We're getting too much share value. I'm gonna sell all my stock. I can't deal with it anymore. As if the growth story already stopped. It did not stop, right? Some companies don't find a niche or their niche until well into their stock tenure as a publicly traded company. A la Tesla. Look how long Tesla basically was just all over the place. Ugly had one of the ugliest charts. Tesla had one of the ugliest charts in the market at one point for that level of a company that had all that kind of zeal and pizzazz and like the future might be this. And the chart used to be a day trader's daydream. Now, look, it still is if you're on the right side of the trade. Now you get your face ripped off. You're trying to go against it. And the stock, when it broke out, it finally broke out. And now, I mean, you ask yourself, man, this thing is so overpriced. Of course it is, right? In terms of their actual production, because that's how you measure it by, right? Their production. But we know Tesla more than a car company. That's why it's getting this level of a premium valuation because it's being measured by all the other things that Elon's doing, which brings more attention to his quote unquote genius to the degree that there's going to be ancillary parts of his business that potentially he can license out to everybody else because he is the vertically integrated, business model. What a lot of these car companies would love to been back in their heyday. He got a chance to do all that after their mistakes and watching Ford and GM and them, that and the third. And now they have to turn around and retool or retrofit their businesses like his because he did it the right way out the gate. So this is why Tesla's gaining gets that level of premium. Well, that could be said for companies like Vulcan, because again, in their title description, it tells you what they are the nation. I keep want to say world. They are the nation's largest producer of gravel, sandstone, concrete materials, stuff like that. Now, just because roads are ragged don't mean houses ain't being built. Just because bridges are bad don't mean buildings, and buildings and stuff like that ain't being, fixed and built up, that these companies need those materials. And Vulcan right there to supply them. So it's thinking like that, that makes what we do superlative to the ideal of, is this company this, that, and third? Of course, yeah, you can measure it up against its nearest competitors, right? But just in the title alone, if this is the nation's largest, then that means they must be best in breed, or at least second in breed. They could be world's largest producer. That don't necessarily mean they're the top producer. You see what I'm saying? That's where this stuff gets interesting too. It might be a company out there doing what bigger numbers than them, and they ain't the world's, or excuse me, see what I'm saying, world, the nation's largest producer, right? Right. Look at the numbers that Ford, dude. Ford put out way more cars than Tesla, obviously, right? Obviously, they've been here forever. But guess what? Tesla's valuation, quadruples, Ford's. And they only pushing out around about what of late, close to, they're trying to get that million cars production on an annual basis. But, they were doing like 250,000 cars at one point a year. Now they up near 700,000, 500,000. And they ain't even pushing out 1 million cars, right? Ford do 1 million cars maybe in what? In maybe 2 months, 2-3 months of that, right? They already at 1 million cars, right? Tesla, gets a whole year to be able to do that. So yeah, those not apples and oranges comparisons. It's just that one is more of a premium. Their cost value and all that stuff is pretty much confined to, their window of success is that they don't have all these other things to deal with. They have a few different products and they do a few different products very well. And so the premium in terms of the revenue is designed around just that. And the growth in the future is that, okay, well, eventually they're going to get to 1 million vehicles. That's what people are paying for now, that future valuation. They wouldn't have paid now, right, the premium aspect of what it will look like, 5, 6, 7 years from now. And again, no one's going to complain that the stock basically went from $200 literally around 2 years ago. It was at 200. Matter of fact, just near 2 years there. 2 years ago, the stock was at $200 a share, right? Dang near. And the non-center period at $1,200 a share. Let that marinate, right? Stock is up 700-800%, somewhere around there. Crazy gains, right? Crazy numbers that they say, right? So that's the kind of stuff we get excited about. So Vulcan is, kind of gives you an idea of what's going on here in terms of its gain. Look at it. Its weekly value, 3%. Monthly, up 10%. Nice, clean little gains, like return, 7%. I take that. 10%, take that. For the year, it's up 42%, right? Year to date, 32%. Right? And it's just November. And the bill just got passed, right? You kind of start thinking like that, okay, and the bill got passed. So right here got 132 million shares outstanding. The float's around about 132, so they got their shares outstanding and float basically in line and accounted for. That's good, right? They got a hold on their share float. Not all out there all over the place, and analysts don't have it all over the place, right? Fund managers, I should say. So that's really good. So that's, pretty low float for a stock at this price, right? That's a pretty low float for stock at this price, right? So that's important. And again, the idea that you say a target price, they got some target prices. That might be a consensus, of analysts, what they're thinking. The next potential hurdle, right, to cross is 207.61, right? Stock sitting at 196 now. Got above this top of this trend line reversal here, resistance here. And now, potential, blue sky breakout from here. And with the infrastructure bill again being passed, more fuel to the fire. Yeah, you use the charts, you use, a lot of different factors, of course, but this is how you map all this stuff out inside in your head, right? This is how you do this, right? Again, going back to the weekly chart, you see what's going here, right? You see the big, U-shaped bottom, fry pan bottom, right? Even here, cup and handle, if you want to use even the bigger macro one here, yeah, that thing getting ready to break out. You already crossed over your resistance, right? So that means things that are strong tend to get stronger, and that's just the end result of now having, a level of news like what you got, yesterday, today, to now add more fuel to the fire. So look at some of the holdings in terms of the analyst ratings recently, right? Just, October 28th, right? 3 days after my birthday, right? All right. Wolf Research gave them a outperform rating 243. D.A. Davidson recently 18th October 195, 210. You think they gave these ratings just because they feel like the company just kicking butt, taking names alone? No, they start pricing in the infrastructure bill. True story. They start getting ready for the infrastructure bill that they know Vulcan is going to what benefit from. So you got to think like an investor, think like an analyst too, think like a fund manager, think like a CEO. This is how you keep up with a lot of these things, just by connecting the dots, right? Loop Capital, right there, Gene Monster, right? Y'all know him from always giving his analyst pick on what Apple, right? Loop Ventures gave them what got them on the whole actually at 205, right? But that's still more than what its price is at this point. Right. So that's how you kind of map it out and go through it. And then you got some news down here, of course, you talk about earnings and revenue. All the institutional investors reach a 7% difficult, but not possible. Vulcan material, blah, blah, blah. Factor setting the tone for the Vulcan material, right? There's earnings, just trying to see if there's anything on infrastructure bill just kind of close by. But it's already kind of known that this company is definitely that, right? Right. Vulcan Materials has some way to go to become a multi-bagger, right? So they trying to map it out their future. And this bill obviously validates some of that now, even more so though. All right. So that's how you look at it. Again, this is not investment advice, not saying go buy it, right? The stock could easily just sell off come Monday, right? It could just completely just pull all the way back to like 190 something. And that'll be fine. Because still in an uptrend perspective, stock is what? Still kicking butt, taking names from where it came from. As they say, from whence it came from, right? Right. So yeah, so it, moving through things like that, that's how you look at this stuff, right? That's how you look at this stuff, right? And it's exciting because you find out so much about your ability to analyze information and things the more you dig through this stuff and begin to really turn over the information and the data. All right. So again, to that effect, it's awesome, right? It's awesome, right? So that's that. So, like I said, I don't want to go too deep in this one specific stock over the other, but I did want to touch on some right within that PAVE ETF because I even got to some of the others real quick. So I got about another 30 minutes, hour to blow here. So we're gonna get down to some of the nitty gritty real quick. So I'm gonna take a quick little small little pause for the call, get my lights on here in my office and get my cover, when I say cover, my window coverage shut, and we're going to continue on. So if you guys want to talk anything about stocks, y'all can. If you want to share your charts, you can. If not, I'm going to do this pause for the call, throw in a couple little tunes, and I'll be right back. Right back. Let me find something, unless you guys got something to go over. Let me find something, man. For a hot second, I can get on and get off real quick. Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? Where is? Okay. What they say? Okay. All right.
Hey, Oba, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, I don't know. I'll probably call you later on. I wanted to ask you uh, if you can help me, because I'm supposed to do a presentation about cryptocurrency here in a few
Okay.
weeks. So I wanted to see if you can kind of help me out with some some data or anything that you could possibly add, for like an introduction, because I'm supposed to be uh, presenting it to my organization. So they finally coming around on the money train. So they want to
Gotcha.
learn about cryptocurrency. So anybody, I know you know a lot about crypto. I probably gonna get with Oba Marquise as well. But yeah, I was gonna see if you can you know help me gather up some data about it.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, you already know it. Consider it done. We'll get us a little schedule some time so we can get in, get in on uninterrupted and
Okay.
kind of go over some talking points and we'll make that happen.
Okay. Sounds
No
good.
problem at all. All
Okay.
right.
I was gonna say that's one of the things I have brought up last week that I wanted when we have our session again. I wanted to be able to talk to everybody about it, like get more informed. Because I'm new to it as far as learning it. I just learned about it last year, but I've been getting deeper and deeper into it. And a lot of you, just like how we have the cryptos, a lot of people don't know about the NFTs. And so the things that they do know about the NFTs is basically what you see on the forefront, commercialized. Is
Right.
plenty more things of what you can actually do with it, and it's actually deeper for the future of how you can have your holdings, your savings, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I definitely want to get in that if I could.
Yeah, no problem. Like I say, this is what, a part of that is, just that what we talked about. Using these different, multiplicities of different asset classes and, how to move money around. Cause like I say, weekends, that's when I'm kind of, I go out and do my little, my plus tax, little trading here and there to kind of keep my skills brushed up and try to make a couple dollars here too. Right. So definitely with you guys there too. So yeah, we'll make sure we keep that in the focal front there, going forward too. So yeah, so let me do this real quick. Get my office lit up here. Then I'll be right back here. So I'm gonna go over here. I just share. Oh, this ain't the one that's moving, is it? Oh, this the other one, because I'm on coin desk. No wonder. Let's see. Let me do it that way. That way it'll be at least moving up here. And I'm gonna share this really quick. I'll be right back. Let's see. All right. The couple. Put on my my Al Green greatest hits, and I'll be right back. Some Peebo Bryson or something, maybe, I don't know. I'm just kidding. That's kidding. Yeah, we use YouTube.
Al Green.
Right, Al Green. Bebop Corner in a second, right? Right, the Bebop Corner, right? So we, get the crowd all hyped up, get ready to make it happen. All right, so yeah, so just kind of reiterating on what we were discussing there within that, uh, you know, that segment there, preceding the, pause for the calls, right? Again, the use cases even as, even using different asset classes, right? Well, a lot of those also, again, have a use case in dealing in or around some of these, political I should say, geopolitical mandates and this, that, and third. Now, they may not be direct beneficiaries of the money, direct from government, but money does flow downhill, right? Or the ideal that if they have something that has a utility case or functional like that, they can benefit from some of that money too, right? Again, they might not be getting invited to the White House, but yet still they still may have value because people can utilize these services in the ideal that this money is going to come into the system, right? To the market that can be used, right? And they also deal in that space, right? So that's, and that's how you look to to the ideal of the crypto space and see that there's some utility coins out there, utility tokens, whatever, that have very synonymous meaning, value, or market value to, when I say market value, meaning use case value to that, some of the companies that we're sitting there talking about today, right? So yeah, you can even dig through some of these and find those ones that are, that have that. True story. Of course, we spoke about the whole, the ideal of the metaverse scenario just all last week, and whatever, right? When we had the big breakout for Mana, whatever, right? The whole Facebook scenario, and that's why that stock was breaking out. Well, I can't stock that token, right? Right, the stock and the token, essentially. But that's how you will look at that too, right? In the same breath, right? So yeah, so this is some definitely some tokens out there that has use case, right? That link value use case, and not just the ones who are just of course the novelty tokens, right? What's the use case in this? It's novelty token, right? So it is what it is, right? So yeah, so we got it's some opportunities out there. Again, you just gotta stay in what they call grind mode, right? Matter of fact, I think what is XYO do they're the metaverse scenario, right?
Yeah,
And
the
they also
metaverse scenario is the best one because the NFTs will be really, really efficient when it comes to the whole metaverse thing, because that's basically the
right,
future what everybody's trying to push.
right, yeah, alternate reality AI, right? It's an extension of that on the entertainment side that can become a way of life in terms of natural advertisement, because I think we spoke about that before. Well, I don't know if you was here. Well, you probably was. You might have been in the back. But the idea that, of course, the metaverse as a whole is a whole different marketplace, because now this is a digital world that has digital advertisement that's going to be, marqueed in it. So you're gonna pay for advertisement to be in somebody's what, simulation, right? Like old school Sims, like Sims. Remember the old school game Sims on PlayStation, Xbox? And Sims been doing that, right? And now all of a sudden, like these jokers that came to the next level and Facebook and all that. So it seems like, man, where my check at, man? We've been over here on that level, right? Because only people that used to play Sims were people who were just deep in the role play, stuff like that. Building out them a simulated world, what it'd be like, and this, that, whatever. Right. So yeah, that and the NFTs that within that, because most of the NFTs are basically what, digital renderings of what, rarities, right? For the most part. Then you got some tangible ones too, of course, that are within that to a degree, but they're more digital renderings, right? Just, I mean, some old low pixelated rated little NFT that somebody got, right? Now they end up paying a person like $2 million for it, right? But the other person had an NFT like Joe Cool, this, that. It's wild, right? It's wide open out here, right? But again, this is what makes this stuff interesting, right? This is what makes it interesting, right? Because again, You know, it provides that level of usability for those people who are moving into that space. So again, XYO, that's why I've been kind of trading XYO off and on. Of course, Mana, yeah, definitely know Mana, because it's a part of that NFT family, right? It's a centralized crypto location data blockchain network, right? Say all that with a mouthful, right? A decentralized crypto location and data blockchain network, right? In that perspective, it helps with written protocols, right? For what? Smart contracts. Well, we know that's what ERC20 is with Ethereum. It's on the Ethereum network, basically. But they deal strictly with NFTs. They deal strictly with NFTs, non-fungible tokens, right? And then dApps, right? Decentralized apps, right? Apps that run through they use smart contracts for various reasons, but definitely everything that's on the novelty side to deal with the non-fungible tokens, that's what XYO do. Now, this is a crypto, right? This is a crypto play, right? For anybody maybe think about what is he talking about, right? It's a crypto play, right? So if we're speaking in essence that, okay, well, these are the things that we're talking about for, futuristic values, and because we know about some of the stocks that deal with in that space, right? Right? No, already we know what's going on there, right? So, that in itself is pretty much a window into, how you can kind of front run the opportunity, right? So really quick, right? I know we kind of off topic, but we on topic, right? That's how we do over here, right? We share.
Was that
Again,
Coin Market Cap?
yeah, you can go to Coin Market Cap and look it up. You can go to Coin Desk, many of them, right? I'm
What
gonna
was you?
come to one on the stock side. I'm gonna let people know how you can find this stuff, even on stock investment publications too, because y'all know
Okay. What was?
Nasdaq is what. Go ahead.
What? Oh, I was going to ask you what website was you just on that was on the screen?
Oh, that was just showing before with the music playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Coin Market, CoinDesk. Excuse me, CoinDesk. That was CoinDesk.
Okay. Okay. I
I'll
got you.
post the link to. Matter of fact, let me grab it real quick because that's the data tab over there. I'm gonna post it to YouTube and I'm gonna post it in the back on the group side too. Yeah, so
You know,
CoinDesk.
McDonald's got the NFTs for $20 right now, and a lot of people don't know nothing about the NFTs, but those are the things to jump on because it's almost like jump with that price. It's almost like jumping on Shibu at its price right now because a
Well,
lot of
again,
people don't know the NFTs. A lot of them are already worth millions, but they're going to end up with being worth billions because it's actually your own personal bank through the crypto. I mean, so it's a lot of stuff to it, but that's one of the
right,
assets. You can
right.
use it
You're
as
right.
an asset also.
It's a part of the rarity. That's what makes them what they are. It's digital art. I mean, it's call it what it is. It's really digital art, right? And so that's why you have or catalogs, right? So that's why you have people like in the music industry, they're going into the NFT space too to get that extra margin value on their work, right? Their body of work, because it can't be duplicated, right? They own the license to it, right? The whole idea, remember y'all probably saw in the mail like everybody else that y'all know Jay-Z and Dame Dash was kind of what they were warring a little bit because of the whole NFT thing. Dame Dash won't do the NFT thing, and Jay was like, wait. But anyway, it's that rarity that that you're not going to get it anywhere else, right? It's like one copy. It's like back in the day, y'all remember that guy Martin Shkreli, right? The scumbag Martin Shkreli that got that medication, or he ended up being the sole owner of the pharmaceutical company that produced this little AIDS pill, and he charged people I think $1 million for per pill. He was total scumbag. But y'all remember when Wu-Tang made that one album that they was gonna sell for $1 million? Like only one person was gonna be able to buy it. He was the guy that bought it, right? Little nerdy, little white guy, of course. And of course, he ended up going to prison later because he's just a scumbag, right? But yeah, that was the value of what they call that was a real that was a fungible, token, so to speak, right? It was a tangible album, yeah, but it was still a rarity and an oddity because it was art in itself. That's why they produced it for that value. It's a piece of art. You're gonna buy basically a sound, digital sound art, for that album for $1 million. So now the digital art now in terms of non-fungible tokens are just that because it prices the rarity, kind of like Mitchell and Ness, right? What my old school people that know about Mitchell and Ness, right? Remember the throwback jerseys? Y'all definitely know this stuff, right? just what it was about, right? I had me some nice ones too, man. Oh man, I had me some nice ones. I had that college Simpson, man. I had some nice ones, man. All this stuff now, I wish I had kept up with it better because they'd be worth something, you know. But that's what it was back then. Now, again, those were fungible things, of course. Now these are the non-fungible. It's the digital art that you're getting through the metaverse renderings and digital art, pixelated pieces of you know, one in a lifetime rarity, and people wouldn't pay for it. So yeah, it does have market value. It can gain market, you know, acceptance here and there for those who obviously, you know, can afford it, of course. But they're gonna have to obviously at some point, like everything, it starts out pretty expensive, then eventually the price gets dropped, right? And so you'll have the ability to kind of capture you some of it too. Now, whether, you know, once you get it, it'll, you know, people will be able to kind of hold on to it and whatever, you know, down the road. But at that point, you know, it'll be the same as, again, you collecting, you know, rare sneakers or you know, a Picasso or Rembrandt or Andy
Yep,
Warhol
same
painting or
thing.
something. Yeah,
Yep, same thing.
yeah, same thing. It's all been, see, because before that, man, I told y'all about this. This because remember we had the conversation about NFTs a while back. I don't know if you were there that day, Sonny, but I was, you know, when we went through NFTs, right? I was telling people about that because before that, like we talked about earlier with the fungible stuff, you know, some of the major purveyors of rare art, jewelry, things of that nature is a particular company that people go through, you know, still to this day to find those things, even property, right? I don't know if you guys familiar with that company. I spoke about it back then, but it's like, man, I ain't put y'all on the spot. Like, y'all remember that company? But y'all know, I mean, this stuff like this, like,
What's the
you know,
company name?
right?
What'd you say the
Starts with
name was?
starts with an S. I'm just put it out there just in case in the back chat somebody get it. They deal with rare properties. They kind of on the level of Berkshire Hathaway, but even more
Talking about
extended than.
Simon Group, right?
No, that's the properties. Now we talking about this. They deal strictly with. They deal with diamonds. They deal with rare paintings. They deal with. They deal with
It's not Sonoma.
no, y'all
Sonoma Home.
close.
Oh,
Y'all get. Yeah, it starts with an S, right? Jay-Z deal with them a lot too, right? So this is a company Jay-Z deals with a lot, and the likes of a lot of these celebrities. They go through this company for those things. Kanye, them, they deal with them, and so I've been knowing about them for years, of course, but this is one that's kind of, they were the trailblazers. They still are today because this is where the big people go to, like big money people go to them.
It's not
And
Schrodinger, is it?
this company ain't even. Let me see. Are they publicly? I don't think they're publicly traded. All right. But if they were publicly traded, they would be on the level like the Berkshire Hathaway Class A shares. They would be on that level right there. They'd be worth about, you know, $500,000 a share. You know.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. They
Yeah, I spoke about it. One of the
yeah,
videos we did
I
a
think I
while
know.
back.
I just
The,
forgot the name.
yeah, the company is called Sotheby's. Right?
Okay.
Y'all probably ring a bell now. Sotheby's, right? Let me run over there real quick. Show y'all Sotheby's. Sotheby's is the gold standard for all things that are rare, expensive, right? And probably, you know, unless you know, think about that financial life, yeah, it looks good in passing, right? You like, look at it, it looks good. Just go by their website. That's about it. But Sotheby's, right? Sotheby's been around since the 1700s. So yeah, y'all already know you know, what's going on there. Old art and stuff like that, and yeah, so a lot of stuff coming around. Yeah. They made they wealth off the backs, you know, of the fam too, right? True story, right? They do have that history. You know, just showing even some of their collections, even to date, you know, old and new, of course. But they do a lot of the galleries and the galleries up there in New York, New Jersey, California, Chicago. They do a lot of the metro type galleries, right? They all again that gold standard, and then all over Europe, London, you know, Paris, all that stuff. That's what Austria. They go, you know, people know about them around the world essentially. So you can have some of their stuff here. They do a lot of auctions, right? So you see what's going on here. They got stuff in Indonesia, and they got stuff from all over the world, of course. But the prices, you know, are just some of the stuff just like, oh, bruh, right? You be like, bruh, I gotta get my money right. See right here, this crystal fillet right here, right? The crystal fillet right here, right here. This Curse teapot, 47,000, right? Great for Dead T-shirt, rarity, right? 1,500 for it. It's the actual concert T-shirt, right? that the Grateful Dead, one of the Grateful Dead people wore $1,500 for a T-shirt, bro. Right? They got bags on there, Louis Vuitton and stuff like that. But yeah, they got the sneakers, so they got them rarities too, over Chris, right? All right, you know. So yeah, they loaded. Got the watches, they got all that, right? Rarities, bro. You go come out the pocket. You don't come to Sotheby's website unless you got some money. You can come over and look. That's about all you do. But some of them, you can get some of the sneakers, of course. Right. So you see they got the Travis Scotts, the Retro 6s there.
Oh yeah,
900.
yeah, yeah.
You see
Oh yeah.
900 for them. Right. Them Yeezys, right? 389. Right. Look at them old retro ones. 415 for a size 11.
Mm-hmm.
See? So they gave
Yeah.
you another little jump off. You come over here now, dear Chris. You right, fine. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you hit
Yeah.
him with that. You hit him with that Sotheby's price tag. Nah, this right here, bro. This is authentic. It comes straight from Sotheby's. This already been what?
Yeah.
It's already been authenticated out the
Yeah.
gate.
Appreciate that.
They ain't dropping nothing off their website that ain't ain't been thoroughly checked, because they deal with billionaire clients. Like, that's who come to their website, like billionaires, right? Again, Jay, Kanye. I'm just talking about that level. But then some of these ones y'all don't even know about. Bill Gates, all of them, they come to Sotheby's. Warren Buffett, they come to Sotheby's, trust me. And some of their properties. I was looking to buy a house through one of their realty companies a while back. It was recently. And so I know about them, trust me. Yeah, so they ain't no they've been around since the 1700s, like I said. So that's when they got somewhat business incorporated, but they was even around before that, so. But the watches, they got all that, the backpacks. I mean, y'all see, I ain't gonna be all day. So
Yeah. What's that link?
yeah,
Okay, I see it now.
yeah, I'm gonna throw it in the
Okay.
chat, and I'm gonna throw it in the group. But yeah, find things like this. This is they were the nerd people hang out at, right? On sites like this right here. I'm gonna post it in the group too. So yeah, you want your rarity, then you can do a resale. You could definitely do a resale off their site too, because it's already been authenticated. So you have no problem even on that level. Right. So that's just something that's the art
Yeah.
stuff in itself is just like, bruh. That's that stuff you be like, okay. Your money, them pieces that they be having, they be like 80,000 and all this stuff, and 33,000 for the man. Look, I mean, they have some of the
Yeah.
old ones too, some old pieces. They be having some old pieces on
Yeah.
there too at times, right? They run
We
you up
need
there.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
So
got
yeah,
I got I got a
go ahead.
couple pair of shoes that I can probably throw on there if they let me resell.
Yeah, it's like any other. You probably got to meet a criteria, authentication, all that stuff like that, and go through whatever they little standard is. But yeah,
Yeah.
by all intents and purposes, that's how you get it. So, and again, just trying to talk about this company I was talking about, but company, XYO, right? This little crypto play, like was talking about with Sonny, it's specialized in location
Hmm.
data crypto that could slowly move higher. But they talking about move higher, specialized, but tell you is move higher, but they deal with NFTs, smart contracts.
Yeah.
This token about 6 cents a token right now.
You
6 cents.
traded it or you got some? You holding some?
A little bit of both. I've been trading
Okay.
it more than I've been holding, because with most crypto, how the stuff go. They got to prove themselves to you, and the market got to
Yeah.
be able to kind of give you that, so you can buy a little bit and leave a little bit in there, and that's how you kind of build into it
Right
throughout
on.
trading it, and then you get to the point where you start to see that it has a stability value of a floor support, and the use case begin to get adopted more, and then you start building on that long term.
Right.
Right. That's the
Right.
most responsible way to invest in what they call crypto, because a lot of them, we went through the ICO world. We know what that was like. People got
Ooh, wait,
scammed
man.
like crazy, right?
Crazy, man.
So it was like every day somebody came up with a crypto, right? It was just a wild,
Sure.
wild west.
You ain't lying, boy. I remember that. I got
Mhm.
scammed about 3, 4 times, thinking
And
I'm
the
about to
stock
be
world was right behind them. Yeah,
right.
coffee Bitcoin. Yeah, teacup and Long
Yeah.
Island tea Bitcoin. Like, what is this?
Right.
What everybody would just skyrocketed. All they had to do was put Bitcoin in their name. The stock went up like 300, 400, 500% the next day. Remember Longfin? Remember we them
Yeah.
like Longfin?
Yep. Yep.
Man, boy, we made a killing on
So
loan
do.
fund. We made it
Yep.
going up and coming down. But that thing went from what to like $300, somewhere around 100 something, from
Yep.
like $2 or $3. And a lot of us wrote it up from like $7. I know I wrote it from like 7 all the way up to like
Yeah.
150 plus, somewhere around there. I remember like yesterday. It was crazy. We made a killing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So
Yeah. You ain't lying. So right about that, man.
so
That was the crypto bubble.
it was.
Then.
That's why you got to be very careful, guys, when you're looking for
Yeah.
these projects out there, because we always use some of the basic foundations of use case. In this day and age, you have to have a very profound use case for people to feel like they can just park money in something like that, right? So that's why you kind of I call it dollar cost average in at a point where this the asset can really prove it has some founded holders of it, right? The hodlers, they want to call it, like hodlers, right? That matters. That really it does matter, right? Because they might be building out something. That's why if I post on a crypto, course, now I don't necessarily mean it's law and it's God. That's not the case. I take L's too, but I try to go through these assets and try to really see what are their use cases. So of course y'all know I've been a big proponent of ETC. How long I was talk about Ethereum Classic? Like forever. Remember, I was talking about Ethereum Classic when it was at like $1 and change, right?
Yeah.
Before it became $1. And
Yep.
Ethereum Classic, when I went to like what, 150, $60, it just took off. I remember NBK hit me up. He's like, man, that Ethereum Classic, man, you were right, African, man. That thing took off. I was like, yeah, boy. I said, yep. Because he was all over Ripple at that time. And he was like, yeah, Cardano and Ripple with his coin. I like, man, I'm telling you that ETC, man, because it's the founded, block before they did all the splicing that everybody but so now, of course, I've been speaking about what loop ring, right? How important is loop ring? Loop ring works off the what? The ERC20 smart contract that deals with
Yep.
NFT, other stuff too. It just broke back out again. I've been in loop ring
Yep.
since like 15 cents, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And they got up near $2 just recently, and it's actually over $1 and starting to find support up there over $1.
Mm-hmm.
So loop ring, I've been talking about that one for a long time.
Yep.
Mana, of course, I talked about Mana a while back, and then just recently because we broke out because of the metaverse, finally, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's doing pretty well. It's holding up pretty well since it broke out. And there's several others cool. Of course, I won't be here all day going through all that, but yeah, important. So that's why I'm showing you XYO, because XYO is also within that space of what we talk about here, because that digitized future value and smart contract for non-fungible tokens is there, right? We know some of the stocks that deal with that. I can give you some off the gate. HFV, right? Hall of Fame Virtual Sports. I think that's what it is. They deal with pro football players, NFL, baseball players. They got them on the NFT game. Then you got Dolphin, DLPN. I think is the ticker symbol for that one. They're same level, NFTs on that level, right? And there's a couple more of them out there too. But those are some of the top ones in that space that got a lot of attention, right? When they broke out, right? And so now you're getting the same to a degree with XYO, right? In a sense, because of its, being on the Ethereum network in that perspective, right? Oh, I forgot they ain't gonna show the ticker on NASDAQ. They're just gonna do show news on it, but you can go pull the token up yourself and go look at it. Nothing new there, right? So everybody knows it's been breaking out recently. It's been getting some attention essentially. Right? That's why people all, jacked up about it and excited about it. All right. So that's it. So that's it on that. Really quick, let's double back, do a couple more of these other ones, and then we'll get on ahead and call it a day. In terms of the infrastructure bill. So of course we know, pay, we know about the ones who deal with construction, the base case, right? The base case, right? The base case players are going to definitely have a benefit from this due to the fact that they're going to need these companies, right? They're going to need these companies in order to be able to to utilize this money, right? So you got, again, passenger and freight rail, right? Passenger and freight rail. So you got Amtrak and you got CSX, Kansas City Southern. So you're gonna have some of these stocks that traverse across different aspects of this infrastructure bill because of the fact that they have they're connected in a lot of different lanes, right? So right out the gate, you already see that, right? Passenger and freight rail, right? What a passenger and freight rail, based what I said, right? You got what? Amtrak and all, right? And you got all what? What's that little railroad company on Monopoly? B&O, right? Readings Railroad. Y'all played Monopoly back in the day. No, but those
Yeah, yeah. Reading Railroad, Pennsylvania Railroad,
being with a
B&O
B&O,
Railroad. Yeah,
yeah,
B&O.
classics.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on, Oprah Brandon? See your part in the building.
What's going on, family? How y'all feeling?
Yeah, you got it, man. Happy to have you in the house.
What's up,
How you
Brandon?
feeling today?
What's going on? I'm good. I'm good. What's going on, Upper Chris? I'm just waiting
Yeah.
for this pay to pay off.
Right, you
Yeah.
finna lift off Monday. Hopefully, if everything go well, I'm definitely sending all the energy and the ancestors to where you at right now. Cause you like Eddie Murphy and Martin with that movie, like the upper room. Boy, when Jesus,
Up the room.
you're going to the upper room Monday, boy. Oh, that start lifting
Yeah,
off, boy.
yeah. Man, I was holding it
Waiting on
since
it. You were saving that
March.
bacon. You breaking up
Deep
over,
fried it. Put in that little vacuum set.
boy. To my
Can you hear me now?
vacuum sealed it and everything. You were saving that bacon, boy. Ooh, that boy. They're going to cut that check soon, one way or the other. They're going to cut that check. You're breaking up over. Yeah, you're breaking up a
How
little
about
bit.
now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
Hold up. Let me step outside. I'm sorry. I'm out here in these malls looking at these overpriced sunglasses that I don't want to pay for.
That's it. Well, you let pay for it for you in a minute. That's how you do it. Let the market pay for it. Yeah, man. So I know you're ready for that pave play, and of course, looking at that stock earlier, this being the kind of the litmus test because it encompasses all these little other companies that we just in there going over. Well, I'm not calling them little company, but they big company, but this way you can get all of it in one at the price value is just phenomenal because again, pave is up in the same likeness, just up over what? Again, the 300%, since COVID lows.
Right.
So then this story is just beginning. That's what's crazy about it because ETF just started. It wasn't like it's been around like forever. It just started in 2017, and so use case now going forward. Now that the projects are finna get some funding finally, right? Roads actually gonna get fixed. Well, hopefully, right? They don't sit there and wait all day to do it. The check getting cut, so it should be no excuse. But my point is that'll give them infinite projects through all these small companies. The companies underneath the ETF, I should say. Now they can now work that into their market value.
Right. And then I was looking at some other ones. I think I posted the link in the YouTube chat and in the back chat too as well. I forgot the other one I was looking into, but that one was.
Go ahead, Obi. You just broke up.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
No, I was looking at the other plays in the back that comprise of like the water plays, because water is going to be another big thing that's going to be on everybody's radar pretty soon, or not soon, in the near future. So, I was looking at some of those as well.
And like I said, I haven't begun to even hit all the ones that I was going to talk about. I'm not going to be able to get all of them done tonight because there's so many of them, right?
Right.
But these again, some of them we had that list of some of the companies to look at going into the infrastructure bill or the idea that Joe Biden was going to become president. We got a list. I got to go pull that list back up and share it with the family, but that's gonna be one definitely worth looking at. You know what I'm saying? And then you take like this ETF here. A lot of people probably that knew about it because I knew about it at the time. It was like $1 and change onto COVID loads, right? And it went up and hit like 23, somewhere around there. That happened every bit of maybe less than a year. It happened in it went up from $1 to 23 in about I want to say 10 months. So basically 2,000+%, right? Just crazy gains, right? And let me show y'all this ticker right here. Let me unveil this one here for you because come Monday, same way. This is the one that was day traded a lot. It had a nice little run up, and it was good because again, the chart gonna show you like, okay, this thing just been rocketing, right? But this puppy right here, y'all see them here? IEA. And the name tell you what it's all about: infrastructure and energy alternatives.
That was another
Right?
one I was looking at too. I seen that too on the radar.
Mm-hmm. This one here been around for a minute, and it's been consolidating lately. Look at the consolidation. It's barely below the 200 moving average slightly here recently, but guess what? It's been holding what above water, because y'all know how these stocks when they go for $1 and run, these kind of runs, right? People like they got to earn it, pay, right? Sure. Yeah, they finna get a nice lift off because energy alternatives, in phase, solar, all them type, they all wrapped up into this one. Woo 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 woo, Gina, right? So same scenario, right? Has great potential. Again, it's not investment advice, guys. Don't be like saying everything I'm posting, ain't just saying go jump in it. I'm just saying do your due diligence, but these are just what some aspects you can start from, because they're all dealing with what? Infrastructure. Right, that bill just got passed, and energy alternatives. You already know it's going to PGG, PG&E, and PCG. You know, they have to kind of what do a lot of contracts for renewable and clean energy stuff. That's a part of federal, them being felony company. They have to appease that side of the court. They have to move towards more clean energy scenarios.
Right.
So they got they end up linking with Elon. I don't know if y'all remember that a while back. I spoke about that. Actually, PG&E, they work with Elon, them Tesla, them. On that energy side of things, trying to make them a better scenario, even though Elon got mad and moved out of California, but he was a part of their advisory board, so to speak, right? Because again, that's just the way that these old antiquated power grid laden companies are gonna have to start updating their power scenario. That's why I say you gotta get off all these old power poles. That stuff been old, man. All these birds tripping them and storms just tripping them and fires just burn them down, and they cause more. Man, it's time to start burying these cables underground. It's a little expensive in the beginning, but once you get them there, they straight, right? They straight. You ain't got to worry about bird. You got to worry. Again, it frees up airspace, right? At least within 20, 30 feet in the air. You take all these power lines down, man. Look, but you can have the drones out. Everybody be happy, right? But it's something to think about. So IE is just one of those ones you want to look at because again, it's loaded with some good names as well, right? All this is all within that, ideal of the infrastructure, right? Right. Really good opportunities here, right? Really, really good, because now, when you start to again map out what that looks like, within this bill. The extent of where the money's at within it, then yeah, you'll be like, okay, I can see what's going on here, right?
And then I like to see that squeeze momentum that you have on there too. That's actually a good indicator where a lot of buying and selling is not really happening. It's just sitting there and, like you said before, consolidating. That's and then on top of that, it's got earnings. What do you think that's going to do when this bill is passed?
Right, because now you got to price in that money, right? Because you know that check being cash. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I love about the idea of it as well. It's like, man, because now we get a chance to kind of just see it for for what it's really really worth, right? As one would think, right? Because it's mapping out essentially again new money, right? It was all trying to price in summer, but they can only do that to a degree because it's like, okay, you still got to get that check first, right?
Right. And even if they don't make earnings on this time around, you know what the biggest catalyst is coming through or is coming through, whenever it comes through.
Right.
You still have this bill, and I'm not putting a lot of hope on this bill. I mean, some of these infrastructure companies might get one or two moves in the market, but still tank. So you gotta, like you said, you always gotta plan out the actual trade and do your digging behind the actual stock, within the company. Because like you always say, you want the best of breed.
Best in breed. Because in cases like this, people are going to try to find places where they feel like they have good institutional backing. because they feel like, you know, it's validated through the value of people who are in the hold those levels of risk, right? Risk on scenarios.
Right.
That's just how this stuff works. Again, we don't make the rules. You know, that's how the big money play, right? Sometimes we got to bow to big money in those perspectives, because again, if you are thinking long term, you know, well, guess what? You have to wrestle with the idea that you feel like, well, at least this brand, you know, behind it, right? You know, they got the, you know, they war chest, you know, locked and loaded and booted in this little, you know, this scenario. Make sense? So it provides so much more confidence, you know, in the investors who get into them plays in that perspective, knowing that it has, you know, the ability to you know, to be a really, really good opportunity, right? Really good opportunity here, right? So yeah, IEA is just one of the ones, again, like I say, this you know, this off the beaten path, you know, it's you know, it's not off the beaten path. People knew about that, was, you know, around when it was doing this whole breakout scenario because of the whole energy bill back then. But you know, the ideal of it, you know, now it's becoming even more credible, right? It's a more credible scenario now, right? So really quick here, let's run over here on GP. Show you this real quick here. Just, you can, you know, kind of like how we did with the other one, right? Pave. You can see, and this just, again, for the most safer approach, right? If you don't want to deal with the individual companies and deal with that, just again, that's the importance of the ETFs, right? That's why we tell people, hey, you know, get that package deal, right? Get that package, get that 2-for-1, right? It really helps. So guess what they deal with, right? Infrastructure and energy alternative, renewable energy, power delivery, heavy, you know, civil works scenario, industrial power grid, rail, and environmental scenarios, right? So they kind of right in that space. They right in the thick of all that, right? Leaders in energy and heavy civil value, right? Infrastructure, construction, all that. You see what's going on. They picture wind turbines, the list aspects of that, bridges. There we go, them bridges, right? There it is. You know, stacks like that, silos, all that, trains, you know, grid lines for track. I mean, you see it there, you know, already when you come to their website. And then some of the components of that, wind and solar, right? Energy storage, right? See, some of the projects, you can come check some of the projects right there. Guess what? Them projects, they're going to go up. They get that check cash because they're going to be out there bidding like crazy, right? So, I mean, you see here, just from the, for the extent of some, the website, this is the actual website here. You already see what's going on here. Right, you see, you know, the companies and trucks and all this here, man. It's this, right? It's this, right? And I always say, you know, people site map is kind of like their white paper to a degree, right? You kind of get an idea of what they got going on, right? Proven capability, right? Mission, vision, ESG. See, there you go, environment and social governance, right? So they're on that clean side of things too. Definitely dealing with clean energy, right? So you can kind of get an understanding of what they got going on. Projects, see, look at that. Solar, the Aoi High, wind, Brunis, Bree, all this stuff like this, just they're moving. Los Angeles Transportation Center, intermodal facility, I-69, Greene County, Davies County, Great Bay. So some of these projects here might be in some of the neck of where most of you guys may be at, right? Some of you guys, not most, but some of you guys where you may be at, right? St. Joseph Solar Farm, there, let's see, Radford. So yeah, you kind of see what's going on here, right? You can definitely see what's going on here. Right, so it's important, man. It's just like, man, this is great because you know, you get a chance to get all this in one, right? All in one package, right? Right, all in one package. Right, so, you know, when you come to the investors website, you can kind of go through what they got going on, the ethics and, you know, whatever. But just you know, again, all the stuff that's, you know, surrounding the you know, anything that has to deal with the stock as a whole, right? You know, their filings and all that stuff. And if they got any kind of important news, pertinent news just came out recently. They just dropped some news. Infrastructure energy secures a what, $49 million what wind construction contract in Michigan. Again, stuff like that finna really start to kick in a little bit more with this money being cut. Right. So that's what makes it, you know, even more attractive. Look at the chart. Again, it had that blow off top because it went parabolic from $1 to 20. It came back down, found support at 10. So that's a good little what, pull back halfway off the top. That's what you want, right? You know, so if it starts to show some support here, maybe, right? You might start building back up, right? Try to make that big old U-shaped bottom return back to the upside potential.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So got some opportunity, you know, and that's what makes it, again, all of it speculative, but you just looking for opportunity based upon, you know, what are some of the rolling catalysts out there with infrastructure deal, right? People like, and if buts, you know, and if buts about it, that check gonna get cash. Right. So there it is. So IE, you can come on the website. There's an official website here. If you want to come, you know, do a little, you know, the research into them and the company and as a whole, whatever, you come through and check them out.
I just want to throw one more out there over for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
NEE is another renewable energy play that I'm looking at too.
Yeah, which one again, Open?
It's NEE. I think it's Next Energy.
Yeah, Next Energy. Yeah, yep. I thought what you said. NED. Yep, Next Energy, Next Era Energy to be exact too.
Yeah, I
Trade
got
them
them in
several
my
times.
portfolio.
Yep, they kind of on that same level with PGE. When I say same level,
Yep.
meaning they kind of in that space of, you know, energy like that, and other projects, of course. But they've been a banger, right? COVID lows, they were down to like 42, 90 up to 85. So they pretty much 100% since the COVID lows, right? And it's been methodically creeping to the upside, you know, finding sheer value. So, of course, again, same scenario come Monday. And matter of fact, they got earnings coming up on January. They have just had the other ones recently, but leading into that, of course, like we say, that's going to be great for them to kind of build off the ideal of, you know, and if that money can trickle down to them. So NEE, Next Era Energy, is definitely worth one watching as well, right? Definitely worth watching, right? So again, just so many, again, we'll be here for days, guys. That's why I'm gonna do like, you know, 2 or 3 parts of this, because there's so many to discuss. I haven't even got to even half of the ones that we're gonna discuss or could discuss, but you know, just hitting some of the baseline ETLs first. From there, you can help to kind of do a deep dive underneath them. But outside of that, of course, you got the you know, the most notable one that just came out of, in the SPAC. We got the clean energy ETF, right? What's the ticker symbol? Clean Energy Futures Corp.
ICLN.
Yeah, CLNE. I don't know if you remember that one
Oh,
too.
okay,
Over.
yeah,
You remember that one?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
That one was it was like $1. It was like $1, I think about $1.04 like that, and it ran all the way up to like $15, right? Same scenario, right? $1.15, $1.10, somewhere around there, ran all the way up to like $15, $16. It actually went up a little higher, but it's been consolidating again the same way around 8, right? Let me show you this. I'm over here on this chart. I need to be over here. Goodness, I need to flip back. Where we at? Here we go. There we go. Same way, right? COVID lows, dollar, with basic rate of $1. Went up and hit a high around about $19 and change, near 20. So same way, went up over 2,000%, right? 2,000+% in less than a year. 2,000. Now still sitting up at 800. You know, at $8 here a share. It's still sitting up over, you know, I mean, massive amounts here. Massive opportunities, you know, in that perspective. Right. So, and again, this news just comes at a great time because the stock is well, you know, it's sitting above its 200 whatever. So that's a little positive, right? That's bullish, right? Just got above its 200 move average just recently here, snaking around it, sitting right on it right here going into Monday. Couldn't make this up. It's sitting right on it too. Look at them jokers. Like, boy, we survived, boy. We didn't break that 200, boy. We're close. So yeah, this news might give them some really good, you know, some energy, right? They just earned it recently, right? They missed on EPS and they beat slightly on their revenue, right? These companies still young. Of course, it was just $1 a year ago, right? Just $1 a year ago, and went to 20. Now back down to 8. So you best believe people are gonna be trying to, you know, look into this one too, because this one had been around for a little second. It was getting traded a lot once a lot of the energy stock was really breaking out, acting a fool. You know, at a point where everybody was looking at, you know, these energies and renewables, and you know, so yeah, this is how you find these little jokers here, man. They just be out there, just, you know, ready to work, right? They say ready to, you know, to make a dollar out of 15 cents, right? And they've been loading the calls in this one, right? They've been loading those calls. Matter of fact, next week, like I say, if was a fifth, right? I gotta say that. I gotta say that. This is not investment advice. It's just opinion and education, entertainment that we're doing. But man, you can tell some people are front loading this, this infrastructure bill. Man, look at the call to put ratio on CLNE, and these are cheap, right? Open interest is sitting at 31,000 contracts, open daily volume 5 grand, 5,000 basically. They're loading up the $9 strikes, 30 cents a contract. 30 cents in the money that costs you 90 to $8 strikes, right? And 30 cent contracts gonna bang money if the thing get lifted off. If it gets lifted off, they're gonna bang. $30 can easily turn to a nice little bag. I just crushed that Moderna one, right? That Moderna was a little banger. I paid what, $7, $8 for that little contract? That jug was worth $260, right? I think around about what, 12 o'clock, it was worth about $260, right? $8 turned into $260. I beat my, well, I guess I could say that. I beat my old banger, right? Well, I spent $5 and $250. This one here went up to like 260. It was like 260, 280. So around about the same. Still not bad. Right. So, but just stuff happens, right? Markets are crazy. You got to be out there. You just got to be out there in it. But this in here looks again, 10 cents for the $10 strike, 30 cents for the 9. That's going into next week. Right. And you still got 14 days for this contract expire. So this might be good news for them. It's been consolidating for a while. We'll see. Right. Again, this is not investment advice. Again, it's just that we're trying to look at these opportunities that are surrounding around this infrastructure bill, because again, this is a check that's just been cashed. And a lot of these stocks do have that level of potential in them. And it's still so many more I've yet to even discuss, right? I already know them. They're on the top of my head because I've been in and out of them, and in some of them still to the date, because of the potential of the infrastructure bill. Right. So nothing new there, but definitely looking at that chart right there, that thing they're looking nice. They're right around the bottom there. It's trying to complete it. It's trying. So yeah, just maybe. Right? It ain't nothing for this thing to bounce off this 200 moving average and run back up to like 965. You break that, go test top of the band at 10. Right. Hey, it can get a little ugly in a good way, right? For clean energy or CLNE. Right. So and there's many more. So again, so let's do a couple of I know I'm have to do two parts of this. So maybe tomorrow, I'll come back on. We're doing like part 2 to this, right? Because there's so many of these stocks I want to discuss. And weirdly, so if you go to hashtag Twitter, right, investment Twitter, majority of everybody over there talking about them. They're sitting there greasing it, doing the Birdman rub with their hands, like what stocks they're gonna buy Monday. I'm not making this up. Right, they're over there salivating the type of stocks they're gonna buy Monday because of the infrastructure bill. Right. And again, stocks still gonna have to perform, mind you, right? It ain't just a given or freebie. Stocks still got to perform regardless of the hype. But for the most part, a lot of these stocks got good chart setups because they've been sitting there waiting to break, and they were just waiting on this in a lot of ways. And guess what? Here it comes. So again, just dealing with, we only hit those 2 right there alone: roads, bridges, and passenger freight rail. Some of those public transit, airport. We ain't got the airports yet. I mean, port infrastructure, how important is that because of the right now supply chain issue, right? They blame it on that, but we know it's really the feds, right? Shots fired. Transportation safety program, electric vehicles. Not notably so. A lot of that money only gonna be cut to people who have unions. Ain't that something? They trying to ostracize Elon. Elon don't need them though. Elon don't even need them. But the majority of that gonna be like Ford, GM, Hyundai, whoever the little companies like that. They, both of them used to be American, so it's gonna be the companies in American manufacturing. So if they got a hub over here, they might benefit from it on the electric vehicle side. But they're gonna have to have that kind of structured value where they have unions or they protecting their workers, excuse me. But that's 7.5 billion right there. Zero and low emission buses and ferries. See right there, we talked about that. Some of these companies out there like Helion, Rivian, what was the other company? What's the little one company? It was a Hylian. One of them. They trying to put out a bus. Well, Nikola just I don't even want to talk about Nikola. I get a headache with them frauds over there. but they still got opportunity too. That's what's sad about it. They still got opportunity to get some of this money too, right? So revitalization of communities, right? That's one of the thing about other infrastructure, right? Other infrastructure, we'll dig into that, right? That means these just some other aspects of infrastructure. So broadband internet connection, right? We talked about it earlier, right? Fiber need to kind of really, move a lot of these old antiquated Ethernet scenarios and radio frequency scenarios out of the way, and let's start getting some fiber cables laid, because another headache. I'll talk about that today. Power infrastructure, clean drinking water, right? Brandon, we'll talk about that. Right? How important is that? That's very important. Again, think about Flint, Michigan, right? A lot of these plants need to be updated. A lot of these plants around the country need to be updated. Tons of them. And the sewage systems too, because some of them just like ratchet, man. These people, people so greedy in America. Right? So resilience and Western water storage scenarios. So very important there, because y'all know, especially in the West Side, right? They have very bad, water storage. Aquifers are drying up. It's bad over there. California, they got water shortages, supply. They're gonna have water on certain islands. I don't live in a place like that. Right? Removal of pollution from the water and soil, so clean up. So again, it's a lot of them, and we yet to scratch the surface on. Again, just there's so many of them out there. So that's why I know I'm gonna have to do like a second part to this, at least a 2-part to this, because it's gonna get real, juicy when you start getting down into, them EVs and stuff like that, because that's not just the cars, but we talk about, the charging stations, right? We already know majority of them coming right off the top. Everybody can probably just start rolling them off when I start thinking about it, because you know who they are. They looking to rocket Monday. Blink, Charge Point, right? F-Cell, right? Plug. Oh boy. Probably even people like Workhorse and all them off the beat path. Fisker just had pretty good, decent news the other day, so they might get a little. All the Lord Town, all them jokers, some of the dusty ones might get lifted off from the multitude of the car or the charging station scenario. So that's why I said I want to do a part 2, because I can go into depth with those, right? I can just call off names off the top of my head, but then I want to be able to show a little bit of the backstory too, charts and all that stuff, right? Flow charts, any kind of specific news, whatever. Right? So we'll do that, and then some of these drinking companies, water cleaning companies like that. So a lot of stuff out there. It's a lot. Broadband internet, 5G stuff like that. See what's going on there. Qualcomm, right? The likes of many others within that space. Right? What's the other one? God dog it. Man, probably even what's it, a little company called Sub Communication? I forgot the name of it. But Xilinx, people like that. Probably even AMD might get a little back end of that because of the chips, right? They need to power some of that stuff, right? So it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Right? Again, we will definitely be here for a minute going through these jokers. But again, that's what makes it great, because we're speaking about money that's been pretty much is finna be spoken for, right? To the tune of 1.2 trillion, right? 1.2 trillion. Right. So get excited for that. If nothing else, right? So shout out to everybody. What's going on, Sister Angie? See you popped in the building. Peace, power, profit to Sister Angie in the house. Happy to have you here, as always, right? So again, we'll do another part to this, because I want to save some of that bacon. Right? I want to save some of this bacon. Right. So we can come back and come back over and look at it again, and again, just do some really good, some deep diving into some of them that we can. Just scratching the surface, of course, but still, hitting some of these well-founded name brands. And unfortunately, like I said, Tesla is kind of being railroaded because they don't have a union, and this whole idea now that Elon, fired back at Biden for pretty much disrespecting him, but not having him, coming to any of the plants that he have, and Elon's kind of the bad boy, right? But guess what? Again, when you work dang near, $600 billion, $600 billion, you like, yeah, okay, you got more power than the president, literally, right? Literally. So yeah, you don't need, people know what's up with Elon, right? But nonetheless, the importance of Tesla is my point. Tesla was first to market at the level that everybody else is just trying to copy what they got, and they can't even come close to copy because they're so much ahead of everybody. But in the same breath, of course, the EV tax credits will be a great cash infusion for Tesla. Because again, who wouldn't want to own a Tesla at this point, right? If you had to choose between the Ford E-Mark or and GMs, them like yeah, they nice, but most people will definitely go for that Tesla because they know the idea behind the engineering. Now, still, that doesn't necessarily mean it's the most well put together car out there, but from what it has in terms of potential, it is definitely a new age computer on wheels, right? People want to be in that because of the the mystique behind owning a Tesla as just from a base case. It's phenomenal. I mean, they are they are still the cream, the top, right? The cream of the top. Now, Lucid's coming down the pipeline too, because now, see, we talked about Lucid too, right? Lucid Air definitely coming. Lucid Air is coming. So LCID, keep that on your watch list, right? That's all I'm gonna say. It finally got above that $40 mark again recently after pulling back, after they delivery numbers, and look, they starting to find support in the mid to low 30s. As of now, of course, that's possibly good for liftoff for them. They would be the most, in my opinion, they would be the most credible potential second competitor to Tesla. Even though I know I like Neo and all this, that, there, but we're talking about strictly in America, and they're going to benefit potentially from the EV credits. I still got to do a little digging on that, see if they have, meet the criteria of what maybe the White House seems to be deemed credible, right? But nonetheless, people starting to warm up to Lucid more and more, right? Since they just finally delivered their first vehicle, they just delivered their first vehicles around the world, right? Saudi Prince, remember that one guy, he got one, right? Several people in the States, whatever. So it's starting to gain some attention, basically. So LCID, right? LCID, Lucid Motors, right? That Lucid Air is beautiful, man. That's a beautiful car, and we did a pretty much a case study on that one. I think maybe last year we broke that down. I posted some pictures on that. Posted some of the drive, scenarios with it, and here it is today. Making moves, right? A year later, right? A year in a day, as they say. That's why I love this stuff. We always can go back and backtrack and find this stuff, and it's like, man, where was I at when this stock was doing that? Yeah, we were talking about it already, right? Ain't nothing that we ain't already talked about. Look at that. Some levels that we drew that just recently. We got the levels already drawn. A lot of these levels we drew before the stock even broke out. We drew these levels here, maybe a week or so ago, when the stock was down here near it was like 30. It was this candle here, basically, right? It's this candle right here. That's when we drew these lines right here. And look what it did with my lines since we drew these lines. We drew these lines on this day, right on around the when we drew them over here, I think, maybe on the 2nd. I forgot when I drew these lines. It was one of them, 28. It might have been 28, I think. But nonetheless, shows you the efficiency of markets because the stock been trading at or around those lines, the resistance supports, right? And I just finally broke above the top when the resistance here, which we was waiting to see that happen. Of course, at that time we were talking about the gamma squeeze potentially. So yeah, we got a gap to fill now. So it's inside that potential window of the gap from here back up towards that best case if you can get back up to 57. But this infrastructure bill does benefit Lucid too. On top of their delivery, on top of all the good news, they've been getting that round the bottom support. They've been bouncing off this area here of that $16, $17 level. After that, it's been lights out. I mean, look at that pattern there when you back the chart out a little bit. Look at that big old U-shaped bottom. Look at that pattern there. Woo, woo, woo. Yes. Right? This one here definitely has some it definitely has some some energy coming behind it. Big old U-shaped bottom here, right? Big old U-shaped bottom there, right? A lot of potential mapped up into all that kind of just inside this little bowl here, right? So keep an eye on it, whatever. Right? It definitely respected our lines that we put on here. Just show your efficiency of markets again. We dropped these lines, before this move, just recent this happened, and it looking pretty good. All right, it's looking pretty good. All right, so that's it. So yeah, so I'm gonna save some of this bacon for tomorrow. Right, I want to kind of, I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I don't want to, do overkill, because I know you guys are following, because we built for this. Is what we do, right? This is what we do. But I do want to kind of add that aspect of, okay, now we can take a little bit of information that we got today, sit on it a little bit, work off that a little bit. We'll come back again, meet up tomorrow, and talk about some more potential runners and players. Look into them, from potential movement values, and see what they have to offer. All right, so make sure y'all stay tuned. If you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe. Right, share it. Right, because y'all know everything we do over here is definitely PG rated, PG-13 at best. Right. Yeah, we welcome the young people, because we're trying to build a community for people who need this like yesterday, right? We need to get definitely the younger generation more involved with the ideal of financial literacy when it comes to investments. They definitely have a timeline of opportunity within their generation that could be phenomenal for growth, right? Majority of these companies that we look at, they've been around for a minute. Just imagine you had been in, 10 years ago, and you had to only put in $100. Some of these companies now been paid out, well into the 10,000+%. It's just mind-boggling how people just, like, man, we always say if we knew back then what we know now, it'd be lights out. Obviously, right? So get your kids involved. Bring them on. If they got questions, we'll definitely answer them too. We know how to definitely speak to the young crowd, the young family. So we want to share that energy with them the same way, right? So definitely, again, stick around. Hang out with us and learn. Come onto the panel, discuss stuff, ask your questions live. We here. We don't. We're family. We're approachable over here. We're very approachable. Very approachable people. All right. So you're welcome here anytime. All right. So we're going to shut it down for the evening here. All right, because I'm get ready to get me a little dinner in a second. I'm smelling it. Right, my stomach. You're gonna touch my back in a minute.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you ain't gotta go on Facebook and comment on different ads to try to contact us. You can directly get to us anytime you want. So ain't gonna be no operators or anybody saying that you busy, because
Right.
you're gonna directly talk to us. That's for sure.
Facts. Right. We're not, again, acting like you only can go through like, this ain't no come to Jesus moment, right? You got to go through 5 or 6 the disciples to get to. You got to, no disrespect to that reality, but y'all know what I'm saying. We're approachable people. We everyday people, everyday average people, right? Extraordinary people, mind you, but we're very approachable.
Yeah, ain't no coming to Jesus.
Right? You know what I'm saying? I got to say that sometimes, because jokers be like, they try to put you out there, make it seem like, how some people, man, they try to make themselves like, again,
Yeah,
I'm never a person, I've never been, y'all know me, I don't judge people.
right.
And we know we have people in our communities that are whatever, right? It's not like I'm immune to that. I know what's going on. I see it like everybody else, right? A lot of time I just don't go to there. I leave that for the people who really got that, the energy for it, because y'all bring them jokers to task, right? And you need that. You need that what they call that, as they call enforcement mechanism within your community. You need that. Seriously. I know people like, no, man, no, you need that, because that waters down a lot of people out there that's really working hard, who is not, being able to reach people that could really benefit from what, at least some very thorough information, because you got somebody else, got them caught up in other, trivial things. They can't focus on the information. So everything we try to do over here, of course, it's not shots fired, just a reality thing. We come on to work. So every time this channel go live, we gonna work. Now, we don't really do a whole lot of sidebar stuff. We joke and laugh here now and then, but it's strictly gonna be work orientated. Hey, here's this, here's that. This is what this looks like. This is potential. This is this, that, whatever. Right. So everybody has different styles. People like entertainment with their value as well. They like all the other stuff. And that's fine too. It's a niche out there for everybody. It's a lane for everybody. Right. But for definitely what we do over here, we're just basic old school construction workers over here. All right, we're gonna come on and build it. All right, we're gonna try to build out something that to connect the dots, make it make sense, and then we're gonna move on from there. All right, like we're supposed to, right? We all adults, man. We get it, right? Get straight to the meat, right? They say, man, you want what? Bread and meat. Which one you want? Bread and meat. All right, so that's where we're at, and we appreciate everybody who's been coming through, who support us. Again, even people that every now and then throw a little something out there on the little the cash app and that of the thing. It's all appreciated. But best believe we working, right? One way or the other, we working. That's why we in this
Fill up,
industry, right? Because we
fill up
find
that
out how to get us.
collection plate.
Yeah, we're gonna find out how to get us a bag, which is
Facts.
great, and show other people how to do it, potentially, if they get
Mm-hmm.
serious, So I love it, man. And you guys are the best. Again, no better place to hang out with my peers here, especially on the Saturday, because I know y'all guys in football. I get it, and I ain't trying to take
Forget the
time away from Nick
sports.
Saban,
Forget the sports, man. That
right?
money,
Yeah,
the money
go ahead.
calling.
Facts.
So
Facts. I gave them a lot of years. I'm just at that point I gave them people so many free years. NFL,
yeah,
NBA, CBA. Look, they don't need nothing else from me. That's
yeah.
just me. That's just why I get my hair done there. Right? They don't
Unless
need
you
no
gonna
more of
give me,
my TV time.
right? Unless you
Right?
gonna start paying me in some equity.
And some
I
dividends. That's what I'm
ain't,
saying. Y'all
yeah.
got some dividend
But
kickback. Oh, y'all got my attention now, like that little Calvin Candy on Django. Oh, you got my attention now. My little cigarette roll to
yeah.
the side. look, what? Got my attention now. What you talking about? Some cash? Let's go. So yeah, man. So we take value in that, not wasting our time. That's just the crux of it. We want to make sure we're using this time valuable now. Because we're playing catch up, like I keep saying. We're catching up. Right, we're catching up for a lot of years that we should have been had this at the level that we're getting it. It's not wrong with that too, because it is a marathon. So we're gonna walk into these bags like we've been doing, and the rest is gonna be potentially history, quote unquote. All right, so I'm excited. So yeah, so get ready to close out. So any last words over Brandon, over Chris? So we close out again. Try to get on this thing tomorrow. Do a little training potentially.
Like I always, watch the market. You can learn from the market, and just get educated. Educate yourself on learning something new. It doesn't have to be the stock market. You can always learn something else that can propel you and push you a little bit closer to your goals in life. But I mean, this right here, you can see a return on this within a matter of months if you do the proper education. So learn
Right.
this stuff.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Right. Time well spent. That's how we like to look at it, right? You want to make sure your time is a commodity for a reason. It is a commodity for a reason. And time over money is the equation that we're definitely excited about, right? Because we realized, growth comes from being in a position where you can obviously, summon resources, right? In this case, we're doing it through our means of, proper due diligence, research, methodology, right? Understanding these use cases of things that we see every day, like everybody else do. It's not like we got a special access to any of this stuff. Y'all see the same companies that we do, right? Y'all probably know more than we do because you out there can be consuming them. So you ain't far from the understanding of how this stuff works. You just got to figure out the nuts and bolts behind it, right? So that's what makes it so great. Everybody is kind of equal, literally. Besides just who may have a little extra experience and money, but outside that, we're still equal because these companies are still at where they are at this present day, at this moment where you get a chance to make a decision on it. So that's what makes it even. So I'm excited for that. So as they say, to the moon, right? They joke like to the moon, right? Win Lambo, all that, yeah, all that. Win Lambo, yeah, we want all that, right? Just like with Tesla, right? Because it's that kind of party, right? It's that kind of party. Look at Tesla. God, I've been loving it. Of course I do, right? Of course we do, right? We've been in Tesla going way back in the 300s and all that, and Tesla just, it's just been getting short squeezed to death, right? It's been getting short squeezed and short squeezed. It's been finally breaking out. We watched this too for the longest, just sitting in this triangle, right? The descending wedge, the descending triangle, like it's eventually gonna break out because they're respecting that 200. People like, nah, it's getting ready to kind of stall out. It's probably gonna pull it back. Like, man, whatever, man. You gotta know Tesla. All that length of consolidation just been sitting there baking up, just brewing up and getting all like gravy, right? Just percolating and bubbling in that little pan. Boy, man, look here. It's time to eat, right? It's time to eat. And Tesla just broke out like it always do when it gets, really excited about, the potential of what things are really starting to look at. And there's a lot of this, people talking about this whole hurt stuff. We'll get into that. I'll be here for another hour. We'll talk about it on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z, right? Y'all tune in. Because we definitely going to talk about it. Because Tesla still falls within that space, and then even though Tesla, Elon came out with that tweet today, I'm pretty sure y'all saw it. People who follow it, man, it could. I mean, obviously, right? He's strategic. Right? You got to give him what it worth, man. Everybody knows the thing outside the band was it's really extended. We get it. It's way up there on the RSI. Had a 90, 93 on the RSI. The TTM squeeze meter. Look at the squeeze meter down here. This green. That thing at peak. It's at the peak, right? That's why you had this little star up here. See that right there? See this where we love this stuff because what is that candle right here? This little doji right here, right? It's a doji, but it's also another type of candle too. What is that right there?
That's a reversal candle.
It's definitely reversing, right? And it's a blank star, right? It's two types of stars. It's two types of stars.
It's not a shooting star. It's an evening star.
There it is. It's a what? Say it again, Open.
Evening star.
Evening star denotes what? Bullish or bearish?
Bearish.
Not rocket science. Not rocket science. That's why I literally told people Friday, I said, be careful today. Tesla might have a little small pop, then it may fade. It kind of pull back to the end of the day. Why? Because here's the evening star. All right, it's a star up here. And again, a lot of the outflow is starting to kind of bounce out because all the euphoria, people who was trading it throughout the week, pushing it through the option market. That stuff began to subside just a tad bit because, again, at some point, the MACD and all that stuff has to have a value of what? Buoyancy, right? The Bollinger Bands. They have to have the respective value too, right? Now, even though stocks can go higher, but that was a moment for people to take profit who was sitting there for the weeklies anyway. That was on top of that. All of it was a perfect recipe to kind of slow that roll. It didn't pull back a whole lot, but it pulled back some, right? So you had a high of 1243, and Friday we came down and hit as low as 1208. So you talking roughly near 30 plus point, and it's still carrying that same sentiment back down at least into what's that right there? Around about 12, 17-ish, somewhere around there, give or take. And then from there, you can potentially try to move into this candle here and pull back because you got to get inside this band at some point, back into it. And then so Elon might be got somebody watching the charts. Like, hey man, all right, just going. He has a way of saying sometimes my stock is overbought. He will tell you. He will say. I give him credit for that. Right? So that's his way of probably saying the stock overbought by saying he will sell at least 10% of his holdings in Tesla. Right? If the SEC and the WHO or the people or World Hunger, the Food Bank people who came at him, and the government is saying that they don't think billionaires paying their fair share, right? They got all this paper wealth. He pretty much said, well, I sell 10% of my shares there. If you think I'm trying to avoid taxes by not selling my shares, well, he just a person don't need it, right? He already a billionaire. He's just out there innovating. He's working. He's not like a lot of these billionaires that sit in these companies and they just sit as the front man, but they ain't really doing nothing. He actually is a worker, right?
They sure do.
Let's be honest. He worked. You gotta give him credit for that. Hate like loving him or different to him. He's Tony Stark. I made that comparison for a reason. He's a Tony Stark's kind of CEO. He gets his hands work dirty, right? So yeah, you got to give him credit. So if he said he might risk selling 10% of the stock, right? And people flipped out. They still flipping out right now. I know y'all probably when I posted in the group, it's all on Twitter now. People just went crazy. Oh, Elon, why you want to say that now? Number one, the stock already overbought too, man. Relax. I mean, we all loving it because it's breaking out. Get it, but goodness, man, right?
Right.
Let it. Matter of fact, let me run over. We'll do this in closing. All right, I'm gonna show it. But jokers all on hashtag Twitter and stock Twitter, they going crazy right now. They just mad because they bought calls. They bought calls. Boy, they gonna be dry come Monday, probably. Boy, they like, ooh, let that thing pull back. They're gonna be hurting, boy. They're gonna be in trouble. So that was his latest tweet, that came out today. That got everybody all, squirming in their seats and a little nervous. Right? He says, much is made lately on the unrealized gains. Let me blow it up. All right. He says, much is made lately of the unrealized gains being a means of tax avoidance. So I propose selling 10% of my Tesla stock. That don't mean he's gonna do it all at once. And right now, if it was to be, because he did say, we'll see down here what he mean by that. He said, I will sell 10% of my stock. Now he owns a lot of shares, of course. A lot, right? Of course. right? And he
Mm-hmm.
said, "Do you support this?" Right. So of course I hadn't even gave my little opinion yet, right? As you can see here, but as of now, look at that, 1.5 million people then voted. 1.5 million people then voted in 4 hours.
Mm.
So but the people that's smart and that ain't emotional and they looking at the chart like everybody like, okay, yeah, we got the evening star. It's extended. It's been running like every day. Like every day it's been running, right? Since the 800s somewhat. So yeah, maybe time to take a little profit, right? He might be kind of dog whistling and signaling, right? Virtue signaling to all the spoiled people who sit in Tesla stock like me and many others who, of course, I ain't got many holdings like some of the other people I know. There's some people out there got millions and millions of dollars in Tesla, right? Some people started in the tens of thousands and they up near that point of $1 million now. I know some of these people personally,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, hey, it is what it is, right? So however you find value in him and on the company, you still got to respect the value of charts and extension of things. Of course, who want to buy a stock at $1,200 when you feel like you want to get something that still has growth in it? What around 600, 700, 800, right? And then who wants the stock to come down after
Here's
the
my
stock that
steak.
went up that high? So it's a lot of ways you look at it, but it's all relevant, right? So
What you doing?
Elon pretty much told everybody what I will abide by the results of this poll, whichever way it goes. That part right there, so I'm going to like that because that says, because he is the kind of man of his word to that level, right? Yeah, this poll looking
Yeah.
pretty weird. So I'm gonna do mine right now since I'm live, right?
You want me to
Since we are
match it?
live, I'm
It's
gonna
gonna
make
cost
my
you a
vote right
thousand
now,
dollars.
right? No, you're over, Chris. Yeah, over, Chris. Got your mic
Yeah.
open. I think you're talking to the ladies. I'm gonna mute him because thank you. Sound like old Chris and do a little something strange for a little piece of change. Let's make sure we keep him private. But yeah, so I'm gonna do my my little poll vote right now live so y'all can see what people think. Now, if I was to ask y'all this really quick here, because some of y'all probably already seen it, but the question is, do you support this, right? Do you support him selling 10% of his stock, right? To kind of appease the people in Washington, all the people that are coming at him about false tax avoidance, right? Do you support this, right? What do y'all say in the back chat on YouTube? Do y'all support this? Would y'all support Elon selling 10% of his stock, right? To prove that he's not skipping on taxes? Or would y'all say no? Well, see that, I know that no is going to be because people that may be in the stock that's loving the price being up this high. Of course, you're going to be like, no, don't sell now. Right? Or people that bought calls, right, into this week, right? They're going to be like, no, don't sell. Because they calls probably going to get decimated come Monday, right? The stock going to sell out just for the idea that he put such a tweet out there like that out, right? But just to ask y'all opinion, all right? My peers, you guys in the back chat, YouTube, Facebook, do y'all support Elon selling 10% of his stock to prove that he ain't skipping out on paying his fair share of taxes, right? What do y'all thinking? What do y'all see? Brother Baptist said, "Yep." Right, so he already on board.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta understand this is Elon Musk. He can do what he wants with his company, And people forget he not only has Tesla, he has other companies and other things in the whim that can get that money right back.
Facts.
So I mean, it's again, he can do whatever he wants. 10%, 10%, just 10%. Yeah, that's gonna hurt a lot of people's pockets. But in this game, you got to do risk reward ratio. So, and you know how
Right.
Tesla's volatile like that. So, I don't know why would you play a random naked call on Tesla. I mean, yeah, if you got the dough, yeah, you can go ahead and do it. But if you don't have the dough, obviously you got to hedge.
Right. Actually, again, being responsible to the chart. What does the chart say? The chart is like, look, this thing is highly overextended. It's been in 93 RSI. MACD is
Right.
crazy high. Squeeze momentum is crazy high. Stow ticks all the one. You Bollinger Bands is way at the top of the Bollinger Bands. Have you put Ichimoku Cloud, all that stuff, Helsinki, all this stuff extended, right? To throw in some, all of it. Right? People know that too. But see, that's why I said never in the history of the game of the market where people got excited about making more money, right? And see, that's the part about the ethics side of this game where you got to be realistic and you can't be emotionally attached to any company or stock. That's why we rent, release, and what we don't own, right? We don't get emotionally attached to things that's going to be going tomorrow. Here today, going tomorrow potentially, right? So I have this approach that I look at the things like every company out there is a what? Pump and dump. right? That helps keeps me what? Keeps me sane, right? Because it's easy to kind of fall into the idea, oh, this is great. Yeah, we know this innovation is popping. Of course it is. Electric vehicles in the future, potential what? Off-road vehicles, and they got electrical boats coming out and electrical airplanes in the future. Of course, that's the future. We get it. We know this is a Jetson mindset coming out of this genius, right? And you want to be a part of that growth, and you get a chance to get it now. And we was at it, when it was like $200 a share, we was at it around it then playing with it. Imagine we had a lot of the money back then to dump into it at the level that we could have said, really just say, okay, I'm going to put all this in it. A lot of us probably could have, but you know how this stuff go. You walk into an opportunity, right? Gradually, because you're still figuring out, okay, what are the, what's the parameters here? What are the parameters here? Whatever. So yeah, you like the story, but it's okay to allow it to get a little cheaper every now and then too, right? It ain't going back to 200. It ain't going back to 300, 400, 500, right? Unless something crazy happens. Not that it can't, but not happening. So yeah, you want to be able to do what they call DCA, right? Dollar cost average. That's the whole point of the game, right? Get discount moments too, where you can add more into your position and let it keep rocketing. So that's the part you got to keep reiterating sometimes, because people will lose that, right? And so Sharon, she say no, because he has nothing to prove. I'm with you on that. He got nothing to prove, right? He don't have nothing to prove. But for the sake of the stock, and I think, in the fact that he don't have nothing to prove, knowing how Elon think, he gonna prove it just to show him that he got nothing to prove. That's how you think, right? That's how Elon thinks, like, and right. You see what he did, fired off on Biden recently, right? And rightfully so, because Biden left him out in terms of the whole infrastructure thing with the EVs. So, okay, y'all want to play that game, but I'm sending people to space. I'm working with NASA. I'm doing all this stuff for the country to make it better, right? The world, period, better. And then y'all still want to try to overlook me because I don't, fall into that draconian measures and, the mandates and all this. Y'all know what I'm saying? And all this stuff about, whatever. So the value that why he does not deal with the whole union thing is because he offers a lot of his employees what? Stock options. That's the difference. See, people miss that. This is why he don't deal with the whole thing with unions, because he's like, okay, well, you come work for Tesla, we're gonna get you stock options. You have the ability to get that kind of out the gate. Most companies don't let you get stock options to you in about a year plus, so not necessarily knowing what's the complete protocol with Tesla, but he does give you that. And the stock, again, for most people who've been in the company, who've been working for them maybe the next last 3-5 years alone, because this was Tesla just broke out in the last 2.5 years. Let that marinate. If they've been working with the company for the past 3 to 5 years, and they haven't had stock options in the company because that's the incentive to work for Tesla, everybody that works for him right now is rolling in dough. Let that marinate. Meaning, if he said, okay, well, here's our par value, here's the share price through working for Tesla, we're gonna let you get stocks at a third discount. So if it's at 200, now you can get it at basically what? But 60, 70 bucks, somewhere around there. This I'm just hypothetical, but I don't know the whole protocol, but just to think that. And now the stock's sitting at 1,200 bucks. Some 3 to 4, 5 years, 3 years later, and these people work 10 years, 3 years, 4 years later. Man, look, you be like, okay, that's what the union supposed to do. Help me stay wage competitive and protect me from, any kind of predatory, CEO. Well, guess what? That bag gonna protect you. Get them shares from Tesla. Look where they at now. They up, man. All right. I'll leave that alone, because people gonna sound like I'm saying, they're gonna say, well, you sound like you're cheerleading for now. I'm just speaking what the numbers say. That's all I'm doing. I'm a numbers, researcher. All right. So yeah, that's why the stock looks like this. And that's why he can make these kind of statements, and whether it may make some of the shareholders mad every now and then, that's fine, because again, at least he understands the value that in his mind, he don't want to see people get hurt, even though people buying his stock like crazy, like a wild beast savage, rabbit dog. He know this thing's overbought. He ain't silly. He got people, financial people, and CFOs and other people he answers to as well. The people watch the stock. He ain't crazy. I mean, how you feel about Bitcoin. You talked about that. And those, so he ain't crazy. The stock is overbought. Yeah. So, but on that side of the game, of course, if he realized that 10%, all right, so be it. Knowing Elon, he'll probably take that 10% and probably reinvest it in something. I'm gonna go buy some Shibu or something crazy. He'll do something like that, possible, right? take some of it and say, okay, y'all want to challenge me, food bank organization of the world. I want y'all to match me. I just took 10% of my stock, right? My stock earnings. Now I want y'all to match me dollar for dollar for feeding all the kids around the planet, something like that. He'll do something like that, in my opinion. He'll make them put their money where they mouth at, right? That could be interesting. But anyway, I'll leave that alone. All right. Another conversation another day. So real quick, let me put my little vote. I'm gonna put yes only for the fact that, the stock is expended. Not that it matter, right? But it might matter. He said he gonna buy by the results of this poll, right? That's what he said. All right. But I'm just interested to see what the numbers look like now. When I looked at it earlier, when I posted it in the groups, it was at 56%. Right, 56% were for him selling, and I think like 42 was like for not selling or for no. Right, so I'm gonna click yes. I'm just making it known. I'm gonna click yes. I'm gonna see what this look like. So let's see where he at right now. So I'm just curious, where y'all think he probably at right now? Think he around about even now? Now that 1.5 people didn't voted, where y'all think he at? 50, 40, 40, 60, 40, what? Half and half, right?
60-40.
You think it's 60-40 right now? All right. Well, 4 against. Yes or no? You think more people 60 on the yes side and 40 on the no? All right.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna see. Let's see what it don't do. I think tighten it down. Barely, but a little bit. 53.7 and 46.3. Now y'all know the majority of the 46.3 people, y'all know who they are. They're people that got calls. You know that's who that is. Them just got called, and they probably using everybody Twitter they got. Grandma, go on Twitter. Go to Elon page and hit no. We need all people to stop him from selling this stock. All right. So yeah, they're gonna be talking about this all weekend. Y'all already know this is gonna be an all weekend thing. What 19 hours left, of course, before this poll ends. So yeah, this is gonna be a hot button topic. At least, right? At least to round about what was it? 12 o'clock? About 3 o'clock Sunday, 3 or 4 o'clock Sunday. This is gonna be the hot button topic, right? That they're gonna talk about. So again, hashtag Twitter, money Twitter, right? A stock Twitter, right? Stock twits, Discord rooms, Telegram, all the places where investors meet up at. They're gonna be talking about this, for the rest of the weekend till tomorrow, 3, 4 o'clock when this poll ends. Because if they are in Tesla, of course, yeah, they feeling some kind of way about this, one way or the other, right? They feeling some kind of way. And that's fine. All right, that is fine too. All right, so that's it. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. So again, hope this was informative for you. Hope you guys gained something from it. As always, we look to kind of meet people where they are. Not tell people where they need to be, right? That's what we don't do here. So we're excited from people from all walks. So again, come hang out with us, right? We appreciate you. We appreciate your view. We appreciate, anything you do for us, patronizing the page and supporting if you can too. That's fine. We're going to keep working. That's what we do. What's going on, Obadandre? I see you popped in the building. All right, we're getting ready to close out. You popping in. What's going on? We probably just busy too. All right, so happy to have him in the house. All right, so that's it. So guys, I'll see y'all in the next one. Again, we'll do a part 2 potentially tomorrow. So tune in, if you are available. Hopefully we'll do a little bit after maybe 12, maybe going into the beginning of the future market, somewhere around there. After 12, I know that, but we'll get it in. We'll do like a little part 2 to go over some of those other stocks that some of the ones that probably might be some really big high flyers, right? Right. We touched on a couple of them, but we'll say that for tomorrow. We'll say that bacon for tomorrow. All right. So that's it, guys. So until next time, until tomorrow, you guys stay safe, right? As we say, right? Uncle Johnson there, life, prosperity, and health, right? Shem Hotep, right? You guys go in peace. And I'm Bantu, right? I am because we are, right? We're peers at this collectively, and we want it to stay that way, right? We're all in this to be better. Right. And so we're going to use one another to help us get there. So there ain't no no one-man armies over here. That's not how this stuff works, right? You need a think tank. You need people who can help you unpack this. So get with people who are actually, working hard in this and trying to unveil this thing properly. All right. So that's it, guys. So I'll see y'all in the next one, guys. Peace, power, and profit. You guys stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see y'all in the next one.
All right, peace over.
Peace, power, and profit, y'all.
Peace, power, and profit, everybody. Peace, family. See you guys on the next one. Everybody in the back, YouTube, thank y'all for tuning in. We see y'all in the next one, family. Peace.